Welcome to the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you.
Looky, Senator. There's a Jedi arriving.
Let's make this our best show ever!
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
I am the Senate.
This is the way.
Hello, Star Wars fans, and welcome to Positive Star Wars Chat, because this is the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast, coming to you via the power of the Force and a little help from Skype. This episode is recorded on the 9th of June 2024. We have some sponsors, of course, as ever, and it's time for them to give them a little bit and tell them all about themselves so that they can help fill in our paychecks.
Easy, Tauntaun. What is it? Wampa! Wampa!
New Tauntaun, Wampa, and action figures each sold separately.
Han Solo! Help! Oh no! It's got Luke! Wampa! Watch it, Tauntaun! Gotcha!
New Tauntaun comes with an open belly rescue feature.
You'll be okay, Luke, as soon as I chase away that thing. Wampa! Wampa!
New Tauntaun and Hoth Wampa and other action figures each sold separately from Kenner's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection.
Thank you to the sponsors. The sponsors who help keep the lights on and keep our D+ subscriptions going, of course. So, my name is Stephen. I am the only British member of the crew, you'd be pleased to know. Yes, it's me over in England, good old Blighty. However, the rest of the motley crew, my fellow senators, come from across the great big vast pond of the water in the United States of America, where even some of them have got up nice and early to be here today. So, in Skype order, we have Marie.
Hello.
We have Ryan.
Hello there.
We have Ricky.
Hello.
And we have Ron.
Greetings and salutations, fellow senators, Chancellor.
Yes, everybody. And everybody out there listening at home or at work or wherever they may be listening to us. Maybe there'll be somebody listening to it on the moon or in the ISS space station. Okay, so I have a little quiz question this time round. I thought I had to come up with something. We're going to be talking about the Acolyte shortly-ish. So I tried to read through and try and come up with a question about the first two Acolyte episodes and come up with a question with a numerical answer. So not something simple. So if you watched it 500 times, you might have picked up on this. If you watched it 2 or 3 times, you may not have picked up on it.
Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning!
So, in episode 1, we have the Jedi Master, Yord Vander. I only know him as Yord, but as I realised, it's Yord Vander. They board the Trade Federation starship, going to look for Oshi. They go up to the 2 Trade Federation officers, and he's going to do a mind trick, but then the female Emodian officer responds that Oshi is bunking at what bunk number on the sub-level of the ship?
Nice question. Oh, geez.
Yes, it is said, and I think it might come up twice actually in the episode, the bunk number. I'm not going to give you any.
Is it Oshi choice. From Bastoon?
Oshi, Osha.
Osha.
No, Osha. Oshi.
That is a neat trivia question. That May, her sister, does call her Oshi.
Yeah,
as a cute nickname. She says Oshi one time.
Yeah, see, I'm not completely making up. You can do your.
Every time I heard OSHA, I just thought of like the safety
Osha
standard things.
I thought he's going to do your Oshi or Bastoon impression, Brittany. Right,
Oh,
Ricky.
I forgot how to do it.
Yeah, it's like a creepy guy.
Oshi from Bastoon. No,
that's it. That's
been
enough.
so long.
Yeah, that's close enough. Okay, so we're going to start with round the table to see what everybody's been up to over the last, well, actually, it might be about 3 weeks since we last were all here together. In Star Wars land, that is. We don't need to know about your laundry habits or cleaning up the house or everything like that, but Star Wars stuff. So we will start with Marie.
Well, what have I been doing? I rewatched Andor. I watched The Acolyte, of course. And that's pretty much it for the last couple of weeks. I found out that watching Andor was kind of a pointless exercise because the person who was supposed to be watching with me hasn't done it yet. But I'm all ready to discuss Andor whenever he is. So at least that much is good.
Is that watch together thing still available on Disney Plus, or do you guys just watch it separate times?
We just watch it separate times because, again, there's that whole 3 hours difference thing because he's on the East Coast and I'm not.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Actually, that's interesting. We just talked about it pre-show. If you do a group watch, it's group watch, isn't it, on D Plus? I think they call it. If one of them's got the ads and the other one hasn't, how's that going to work?
That's a good question. I have not thought of that.
I wonder if you have to both be ad-free to use the group watch, or on the
Could
same.
be.
Interesting. Well,
Could
none
be,
of us
could
are on
be.
the ads. None of us are paying the cheap subscription, though I wanted to, but at the last minute I decided not to. So we'll never be able to find that one out. But anybody at home, have you done the group watch and somebody's on the ad subscription one and somebody's on the non-ad subscription one? How does that work? How are you going to stay in sync? Who knows? Okay, so right, thank you, Marie, and on to Ryan.
So I had a birthday at the beginning of June, and my
Happy birthday.
my wonderful wife got me pretty much all Star Wars stuff. So she got me a Vader card playmat, which I think I posted in the group for whenever I go play Star Wars Unlimited. And I love it because it's like a real muscular Vader. I don't know how, but like in the suit, he just has like muscles, like big thick thighs and shoulders. And I was like, yeah, that's a cool Vader. So now I'm like, I want a big muscly Vader. So, but I got a Vader playmat. And then she got me the book, The Living Force, which I have been, for me, like reading through really fast as quick as I can. I did have to stop and go back to Defy the Storm because Ricky was able to hook me up. So I finished Defy the Storm, the High Republic book, Defy the Storm. And then I switched back to The Living Force. And I'm probably over halfway, which is pretty good for, 8 days that I had the book, maybe a little more. So I've been happy with that. I went to another Star Wars Unlimited tournament. I won't go into it. We talked about Star Wars Unlimited on the previous one. But I placed 18th out of 32nd. I wasn't too happy with it, but it kind of went the way that I predicted, where the last tournament I went to in my area, Leia, leader, got first. So I knew everyone was going to prep for Leia or use Leia. And sure enough, when I went to this one, I counted 7 Leias that I even saw that were playing out of 32, which is a ton of people. So a ton of people had Leias. The guy that won with Leia switched to a different deck to fight against Leia. So I just didn't have time to build another deck. I had to get a free couple packs, so I was fine with it. A little bummed I didn't do place higher. But whatever, it is what it is. And I bought a card from Etsy. So Etsy has all sorts of the art stuff. So there's a Leia leader card for Star Wars Unlimited. They also have, let me think. They also have like Vader, and they have like anime styles and almost like samurai styles. So, and I bought this anime style of it, and I love it. The thing just looks amazing. And see, other than that, and watching The Acolyte, yeah, that's about it. Just a lot of reading, trying to squeeze in shows. I actually rewatched The Acolyte this morning because I enjoyed it so much. But yeah, reading mostly for me and some card games. So still pretty busy for Star Wars.
Very good. I have to confess, I've also rewatched The Acolyte, which is quite something for me to rewatch between episodes. I really don't normally get round to that. As Ryan will know, it took me 4 weeks to catch up with the X-Men and stuff. But
and it was worth.
It was worth it. I have to say, everybody's got X-Men on D+. It's well worth watching, even if you can't remember the previous 7 series. Okay, Ricky.
Hello. I've been playing tons and tons of Fortnite because I'm doing the Lego Star Wars stuff that's on there, and it's been really fun. So that's been pretty good. You have to build up like a rebel base, and they give you little missions and stuff, and you have to kill stormtroopers, so that's been fun. I also have been reading. Well, I've been doing the audiobook for Living Force, so that's been okay. It's kind of dragging for me because I hate when stories flip back and forth, but it's kind of moving along. I think Mark Thompson does that one too. I'm trying to think if it is. It has to be him because Obi-Wan sounds like Obi-Wan. What else have I done? Ryan hooked me up with some of his bulk for Star Wars Unlimited, so I made another deck. So I've been playing that with my daughter. And
was it just one extra deck that you built, or what?
No, I swapped out my main deck, so I still have only one deck, but I might make another one today. So it depends. But yeah, that's been pretty good. And then I started rewatching Book of Boba Fett just for no reason. And I forgot how good I love that show. I'm like on the fourth episode right now, third or fourth episode. But yeah, the show's really good. I recommend it if you haven't watched it.
I also forgot I downloaded the new Star Wars Hunters game that released.
Oh yeah.
News. So I probably played 10 hours of that so far in the past 4 days it's been out.
We've got
we've been all playing that.
We've got that on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
Okay.
We will get to that later. I've almost spent maybe about 10 hours staring at a wall, but we'll get to that later in the game. Okay. Right. Thank you.
I think that's it. So yeah.
Very good. Thank you. And finally, but last but not least, of course, it is Ron.
Good morning, everyone. My bit of Star Warsing has been light over the past little bit of time, but I did local show. I did pick up a Destroy the Death Star game, a board game from back in the day, an OG board game, if you will. Definitely remember having it as a kid. Pretty sure I still have mine. How beat up it is. It's a large format board game. It wasn't the traditional Monopoly Risk style fold in half game. It's very square. So it was hard to keep safe, I'm sure, over all these years, just because it didn't fit the traditional board game format storage in a closet type of thing. But this one was in pretty great shape and had all its little pieces, and I thought it was a great score. So I definitely picked that up for a small bit of nostalgia. But yeah, I haven't done much else in the way of Star Warsing other than obviously watching the Acolyte and enjoying the heck out of it. So I'm looking forward to chatting it up with everyone. I dropped a photo of that board game just in case anyone quasi recognized at least the board game box.
I was just Googling it right now so I could try to see what it looked like.
I used to play that when I was a very little kid. I remember playing that because my aunt had it.
Yeah, it has bases. It has tiny. That's the thing with it and all the pieces. It has the tiniest little of X-wings that are colored. So there's like 3 green, 3 yellows, 3 reds, 3 blues, the traditional board game pieces, whatever, that sit on this clear plastic base. And if you get attacked, you lose one. And if you lose them all, you got to basically go back to start. And you're trying to fly around the orbit of the Death Star until you land on the right space. And then you can enter the Death Star trench and you're trying to blow up the Death Star. Very, very typical board game play for the era. But it had the tiniest and the proverbial little spinner, the built-in little cardboard spinner for how many spaces you can move. But yeah, very, very hard to find with all its pieces because it had such tiny. I mean, those little X-wings were, they're smaller than a dime, and in that sense. So yeah, they were very easily lost.
I thought you were.
I'm very surprised that they even let me play with those because I was small. I'm talking like 3-4 years old. These days,
we're so much more responsible back then, and we were so kids/parents. We were taught, or they were so good about putting games away. At least I was. It was Star Wars too. I didn't want to lose anything, but yeah, it's that's my bit of. I'll try to find some more photos to drop into the chat. But is it Destroy? Yeah, Destroy the Death Star, the original game, or the other first early game in 77, 78 was Escape the Death Star. And that's the one that got reproduced with a figure, with the Grand Moff Tarkin figure, the only way you could get him. And that's a fun game to play as well. But yeah, I definitely had those two back in the day.
I don't think I've seen that board game before.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you kind of unlocked a core memory for me, Ron.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got a lot of a lot of hours with it.
Well, good find. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Cool. Is that it? We done?
Yeah, a bit of lightning. Yep. Unless you have something, Chancellor, what'd you get into for past Star Wars? What clapper? What tchotchke did you find?
What clapper?
The clapper.
Clapper.
Still on the shelf, right?
Oh,
He had
the
to
Clapper.
extend
I
his
ain't got
shelf.
it. I
He
ain't
says
got it. I
books
ain't
now.
got it within arm's reach, but I've still got the Clapper.
Nice.
What do I do? No one asked me what I do. I rewatched the Acolyte because I really wanted to, and I have to say I enjoyed it more the second time round. I have to say I think it really does benefit from a second watch. But we'll get on to
Wait, that came out already? No, just kidding.
Sorry?
So that came out already? What? No.
No, there were two of them. Okay, so and
Yeah,
also
everybody
Star
did
Wars
watch both of them, right?
Yes, we did watch both
Yeah,
of them.
yeah, both of them. Yeah, that comes away. And Star Wars Hunters, which we'll get on to later. That was we'll talk about that.
I need to add that to my Star Wars Hunter. I tried like 3 times. None of my devices would take the thing, and I have a pretty modern phone. I was very surprised that my most recent phone it said it couldn't be used on it. So I got to find some old device or something.
It's a fold device, isn't it? Though.
Yeah, I have the Fold 4, and it didn't. It scoffed at that, and I was just like, oh my. So have not.
Yeah.
I've tried to get into hunters, but I haven't had success. So
Yeah,
I'm anxious to hear about it.
because it didn't work for me either. So.
It's available on the Switch. It's
Yep.
available on the
Switch.
Switch, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Nintendo Switch.
Switch enjoyed us.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I got it on my iPad, and it would have installed on my phone, my Samsung. What is it? An S21 Ultra. It would have installed on that, but I didn't want it on that. Just as well, really, because I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So it's on my iPad. So obviously it requires something reasonably decent, but not necessarily the latest, greatest. So I was quite pleased with that. Anyway, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. Now it is time for the news. Which means Ryan.
So news from the HoloNet. So I do have a list of stuff, just kind of upcoming that we can plan for. Maybe we could touch on a couple things. So books coming up. We got High Republic: Temptation of the Force, the adult book for Phase 3, Wave 2. And the next High Republic book after that would then be July 23rd, High Republic: Beware the Nameless, the middle grade book. So those books are good. Like I said, I just finished Defy the Storm just in time to. I might buy this one just because I bought the other 5 adult books. So sorry, I bought the other 5 adult books. So I almost feel like I gotta buy the next 3 adult books. So I'm kind of stuck now as almost like a completionist collector. So if I find it for $20 or something like that, because I found the Living Force for $20, so it's like I might pick it up.
When does it come out?
So Temptation of the Force comes out June 11th.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 days time.
Oh.
2 days time at time of recording. Anyway, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm 90% sure I'm going to do the Audible.
Yeah, if you got the credit, that's what it's there for.
Yeah, because I got about 6 credits.
Oh,
That's the only place I've got any credit in my life anymore. Not on Audible.
What about the Living Force? Can you use your credit on that?
I might do, but if I got time. But by the time I know I finish, you're just telling me it's about a month between the 2 High Republic books, so might have to come in August. No.
What?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you spend them credits. The other thing, I announced it before, but now it's getting closer. Star Wars Oreos should be coming to the stores June 10th. So I thought it came like May 31st, but that was direct order.
They've been out already.
I haven't seen it. Like the official thing that I seen was June 10th, and my store hasn't gotten any display or nothing yet.
My store has a display, but there's no Star Wars cookies on.
Yeah, so I think they're setting up for it.
I can't imagine it's going to be treated like a toy release or anything where it's going to have on shelf date by. The grocery stores are going to be like getting stock in and having empty shelves and putting them out. So I would suggest your mileage may vary, but definitely
really
check.
Yeah, no, I was surprised that it was a pretty big display. You walk in, it's like in my produce aisle area, kind of towards the back by the cheese. It's like a huge display. I'm like, okay. So that store now has that big Oreo display, and they have the coffee one that I showed you guys before. So like, yeah, but sadly there was no cookies. But yeah, I guess I'll check tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll try tomorrow. I'm probably definitely gonna buy 2 boxes or 2 bags or whatever they are.
Are they red and blue?
Yeah, because they're blind box, light side and dark side. So you don't know what you get till you open it.
Light
dovetails nicely into our food coloring pre-chat. So yeah, right. The icing is colored, I believe. I didn't know that they're blind packaged as to you think it's all red or it's all blue inside.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
don't
that's-
go.
wow,
People
that-
don't go around opening them up in the store. That's just rude.
Oh, jeez, right? Yeah, just buy some boxes. So, moving on to July. Like I said, we're jumping ahead, but July is the next Star Wars Unlimited set. As I said, I keep kind of mentioning it. That comes out July 12th. We've talked about that before. July 5th is for store pre-orders. So people interested in the game, definitely go check that out. Listen to our podcast where we discuss the next future set and all the fun we've been having with the game. The video game that apparently Steven's excited for and can't stop thinking about, Star Wars Outlaws, comes out August 30th for next gen systems only. So it won't be coming to your iPad, Steven. So
Well, I won't be playing it then.
Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. It is set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, so it is put there, which I think was neat. I mean, they put a lot of, even though it's like a year span, they were cramming all sorts of stuff in there.
I should be watching it on YouTube then.
There is a pre-order bonus, so I don't know if you're looking into that, Ricky, or what. I don't even know.
No,
If you
I
have
haven't even looked into it yet.
Is it
I
a
gotta
beanie?
get
Is it a
on it.
beanie?
Yeah, they're calling it the first Star Wars true open world game. Even though I think there has been some where you can kind of explore, and maybe Jedi Survivor is a little different, but I kind of felt like that was a little open world, or is it more like, oh, you can walk around, but you have a path you gotta follow?
You have missions, but it did feel really open world to me because you can just go walk around and talk to people and go collect things. But it's not like you can just. I don't know. I've never really, because I know Zelda's like that, right? The newer ones.
Oh my God, I was going to bring that up. Breath of the Wild is, people call games open world. Breath of the Wild, to me, is like the realest open world game in history. You can literally go straight to the boss if you want. You don't have to follow any story. I wandered around for 10 hours before I got a glider, man. Like, it's a true open world, explore anything you want game. And Star Wars Outlaws, they're saying, but they've also said that about some other space game where you're like, go to 100 different planets, but you can only explore like 100 meters on a planet. It's like, well, that kind of stinks. But there's space battles. You travel between planet to planet. You complete jobs. So I literally bought the board game Star Wars Outer Rim when Outlaws was announced a while ago, just because in Star Wars Outer Rim, the board game, which came out years ago, you can go anywhere on the board. You can complete any job of your choosing. You can choose to bounty hunt. We've talked about all that in the past, but again, my love for Star Wars Outer Rim was pretty good.
Ryan wanted to be the first one to see them all.
Yeah.
No, like Knights of the Old Republic was kind of like that. I used to just go in the game just to play the Pazak game. And that was it. That's all I did.
I mean, you had a general path, like in an area. You have to go and explore this building, come out. You have to go down this tunnel. I wouldn't consider that open world because each thing was kind of cut off from the next until you did something. It's more like area exploration. But Breath of the Wild, man, was, you want to go up that mountain? If you can eat enough berries to survive the cold, you can go up that mountain. It's all up to your imagination. We talked about in August 2nd, Mandalorian Adventures board game was announced. I think we just touched on it last time. It's a storybook board game, so that's coming out in August 2nd. I think it's around $50, which is about the price that they've been. I'm sure once they release more, we can talk more on it later, but I just like to keep an eye out for board games. Steven mentioned it in the chat. Kalnaka is getting a one-shot comic book September 4th. So, and it's his backstory. So anything with backstories for an ongoing show, I'm all about it, man. So I got to say, when Steven told me about that, I was hyped as heck to hear about a one-shot for Kalnaka from the Acolyte coming out in September. So that sounds great.
By Kevin Scott.
Yeah, it's by Kevin Scott. I didn't even realize that. That's even better. Who wrote like the best Star Wars story with Vader and actually
British. He's British as well. So
is he? Well, positive.
Lives over here. We lives over here anyway.
And I know they had a trailer for it. I don't think we covered it. Maybe we did for a little bit, but Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, the Lego movie. That's also in September the 13th. So I don't know about you guys, but I think that looked really fun. It's like a what if almost type of thing. So did we watch
the one where they were taking some super liberties? They were going to have a bad Falcon, and I don't remember some of the other crazy crazy things that I've heard rumored or
what's the
otherwise
trailer
talked
for?
about that they were going to do some really weird stuff in that.
Yeah, the big one was they had Darth Jar Jar, so it's almost like a what if
Oh, yeah.
type of thing, and so
Yeah, people have been clamoring for. Yeah, it was silly, but
Yeah,
perfect in the Lego world.
yeah, that's what I agree too, because I don't know if I touched on it in one of these conversations, but I stopped a random guy in a comic store to talk about Star Wars, and he says the usual BS. I don't want to watch the Disney era stuff, but if Darth Jar Jar was real, I'd come running back to Disney. And I was like, first of all, that's dumb, you know. Like I appreciate
How much was
the
your bail after you slapped it, right?
Yeah, I'm a calm discussion guy, you know, where I will beat you down with facts and whatever. I love discussion. So, but it's that type of stuff that just kind of makes me angry. I'm like, you chose. Yeah, it's comic. I get it. It's comedic. I enjoyed it when I first heard that theory of Jar Jar Jar. I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then people took it seriously. And now you literally have people say they won't watch Star Wars unless Darth Jar Jar is real. And I was like, that's stupid. And you're stupid, positively stupid. So
I'm gonna beat you with this Disney comic.
yeah, and then they showed this, so I need to run back to my comic store and look for this dude and be like, "So you coming back to Star Wars now? Because Darth Jar Jar is coming." So, but I'm sure he's one of the ones that listen to all them idiots on the Fandom Menace that's like crapping on Star Wars because there's, I don't know, too much representation. They're idiots. I hope they go away forever. But regardless, that's kind of the news. I think we ought to cover.
Star Wars people are idiots.
Yeah. I think we cover Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy as it gets a little bit closer. I thought that was a fun trailer. It looked kind of neat. So that's down the road, maybe when things are a little bit slower, I guess. I don't know. But that's it for the news for the next couple months.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that brings us on to the next item on the agenda, on your agendas, if you have your piece of paperwork and memos and stuff. We're going to talk about a TV series you might not have heard about. It's called The Acolyte. And I'll just look at my Wikipedia stuff here. I don't need to put this. This is set at the end of the High Republic era, approximately 100 years before the Phantom Menace. It sees a respected Jedi Master investigating a series of crimes that bring him into contact with a former Padawan learner and reveal sinister forces. We've done quite well there. I was also looking at Wikipedia that Disney did release how many views the episodes drew in on the first day, and it was 4.8 million. I don't know if that's 4.8 million for both episodes or the first episode. They don't say. There's also no way of comparing it to previous releases because Disney have not released any information on previous releases other than Ahsoka premiere after 5 days earned 14 million views. So
I did see a thing that said it was the highest debut that they've had. So.
It's the highest series premiere of 2024. Is anything they have said.
More than Willow.
Whoever that means, anyway. I can tell you that on Rotten Tomatoes, it's gained.
It doesn't matter what's on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's a garbage site where people go and review bomb things without even watching it because their buddy tells them it's bad. So
it was already low before a week before the.
It's actually,
the show came.
I was only going to say because it's actually had a positive review on. It scored quite well on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ryan.
So not that bad. And then they got a whole list of all the reviews from all leading experts and in various magazines and papers and stuff who, of course, know everything there is to know. So we'll ignore them. So
I think people liked Rebel Moon on there.
Sorry, Rebel Moon. I like Rebel Moon and Dune. Here I am going to review The Acolyte. Nope, not listening.
And the Batman.
So we had 2 episodes released on June the 4th. The first episode was called Lost Found, and the second one was called Revenge Justice. And I wonder if that's going to be a ongoing theme for the every episode title as it goes on. Going to be double. Okay, so okay. Let me just skim through this a minute. Yeah, I might need some help along the way. My English is great, but my pronunciations are terrible. Let's see how it goes. So, 100 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, which I already said, The Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order preside during a time of centuries-long peace. Peace is a lie. Doesn't say that though. In a bar on the planet Ueda, Jedi Master Endara is attacked and killed by a woman wielding daggers. The bartender identifies Oshi, a former Jedi Padawan learner, as the killer. Oshi, who works as a mechanic, doing dangerous. Sorry. Are we gonna have this it's gonna be like Han and Han, is it? Han and Han. Oshi.
It's Osha.
Not really.
Oshi.
Osha.
No, it's Osha.
Osha.
Her name is Osha. Her sister nicknamed her and called her once Oshi. But yeah, by all accounts, it's Osha.
Well, just like the Jedi, I'm blaming the sister. Osha, who works as a mechanic doing dangerous repairs on the outside of the starships, denies committing the crime when arrested by Jedi Knight Yord Vander and his Padawan, I'm not going to bother to pronounce. En route to Coruscant, the galactic capital, Osha's fellow prisoners escape and leave her to crash land on the planet Karlak. She sees a vision of her twin sister May, who was presumed dead in a fire that killed her family when they were young. Osha deduces that May is alive and the one who killed Endara. Jedi Master Philester Rowe sends Master Soul, Osha's former teacher, to Karlak with his current Padawan, Jackie. It is Jackie, isn't it? And yours.
Jackie. Yeah, Jackie. Yeah, very much.
They find
Jackie.
Osha. They find Osha, and Soul accepts her theory about May. Elsewhere, May meets with a mysterious master who has challenged her to kill a Jedi without using a weapon. Peace is a lie. Okay, so that is the first episode. They kind of skipped over a couple of little things there, but that's the first episode according to Wikipedia. So actually, before we just go quickly around the table, what would everybody? We rated the first episode out of 10, which we all have to do enough rating stuff. What number would people go for? Marie.
I'd say like an 8.
Ryan?
I give it a 9.
Ricky?
I give it a Yord.
A Yord.
I give it a 9.
Put your clothes on. Yeah. I say it. Ron?
Some would say Yord's a 10, Ricky. So it's new Star Wars on my TV. Are you kidding me? I gave it a 10.
He gave it 11. 11.
I gave it a 10. You said it was 1 out of 10. I gave it a 10. Yeah, no,
I gave it 9 because I want to be longer, Ron.
Well, I gave it a 9. I gave it a 9 because it drives me crazy that Vernestra used the Force to open a door, and I'm like, all the doors are automatic. Like, what are you using your hand to open the door for? So I would bad. I'm just like 9.
That one's not.
The door was pretty much open by the time we saw her hand, either as well. So I was thinking, why?
Heard the noise.
Door was open by the time.
Maybe she was Force putting something away.
Yeah.
No, I did. I think a 9-10. It was fantastic. I did not find them to be short. Sure, I wanted more, but I thought they were wonderfully engaging from a time standpoint. Long enough. Clearly, we would always take more, but yeah, I thought they were good from a length standpoint. We'll get into them more as we talk about it.
Yeah,
but,
I think for time length, I think they were perfect. Not too long, not too short. Definitely not too short.
It felt shorter than it really was, though.
Oh, you thought it felt shorter? I don't want to say it felt longer, but I thought it didn't feel quick. Let's say, and I didn't feel
really short to me.
I didn't feel bummed about it, ending too soon. Now it ended quickly. We'll get to that when we get to the end. But oh my, did it end on a beat in a quick fashion? But anyway, that's my take on it.
Let's go in this sort of kind of episode order, because we start with that the crawl, which isn't a crawl. So we had the statements at the start, didn't we? Which I really liked. I like that.
Yeah, I love it.
I like that. I love that. And I noticed the pan down. I was like, wait, they did the pan down after the title thing.
Yeah.
I agree. I noticed the pan down and immediately appreciated it. They went pan down.
Pan down, yeah. Also, the music is very good as well. So the music is the background music stuff is top notch in it. So we start basically with Jedi Master Endora on that planet, and which is a little bit reminiscent to the Mandalorian. The first scenes we get a Mandalorian with him coming in through the door and then picking people up. And May coming over and saying, "Give me it." This is like Ryan with his Union people friends. Like they go, "Come on, give me what you got," and then they get into a little scrap. And well, yes.
Well, I got to say that, like, it's quite shocking that Carrie-Anne Moss got Drew Barrymored and she was killed in the first scene. I mean, that was, Drew Barrymore from Scream. Everyone's like, Drew Barrymore's in the movie for Scream, and then she's.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen Scream?
No, I haven't. No, not all the way through. I've only seen bits of it.
Well, she died in the first 2 minutes.
Have you watched the first 10 minutes?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert for what, a 30-year-old movie?
Yeah. But no, I must say, as a huge Matrix fan, and I was looking forward to seeing her, I see some people that are mad about it, and I don't understand why, because I feel like they're doing all this BS, like, oh, they don't want to pay her, and I'm just like, whatever, idiots. There's going to be a flashback, so this isn't the only episode that she's in.
Yeah,
and you could do like a whole show on her life.
Yeah, it makes it more impactful that, a relatively famous actor, especially amongst, fans of that genre of kung fu and fighting, a famous actress is killed, and it just makes it more impactful, because you're like, wow, if you would have killed some no-name actor, you'd be like, okay, you killed some weird person.
It's in like tradition of Star Wars, because you had what Alec Guinness dies, Forrest Whitaker dies, like anytime you have like a famous person in Star Wars, they die.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
He was probably he was probably one of the biggest names in the Phantom Menace, and he did it.
Yeah, and her story isn't over. That's the thing. People are jumping to conclusions, is like, we don't have 6 more episodes to watch. So, but I must say, it made it more impactful that the character revealed to be May was like serious, and she was powerful, and she was a real threat, because that fight was amazing. Like, I love kung fu movies. Martial arts movies, I should say, not just kung fu, but I love martial arts movie, and it was incredible. So there's 2 of them, one in each episode, and it was
Ryan. I was that fan that I was watching. I was excited to have her in it, and wasn't following a lot of hype or anything pregame, and was taken aback, quite surprised. I'm like, oh man, I was kind of looking forward to her. Now I know we're gonna get. I'm pretty sure, we're gonna get her in flashback. While not a traditional Star Wars George thing, let's say, it's a storytelling element that needs to be a part of the Star Wars thing going forward, so that you can have some backstory. And I suspect we will see more of her as a Jedi. I don't know if we'll get more of her as a Jedi in action, like we saw, like you say, the fight scene. I love some of the moves. She's just showed that stoic master control and awareness of the Force, that when Osha's going for the lightsaber, she just turns sideways and it's just out of reach, kind of thing, or whatever. Yeah, it was a very well choreographed and very well done scene. Loved it, watched it all. And we learned in there of how she sort of defeated her. It's a little bit of a wait, how did she miss that coming? But the whole what's her master teacher about to find their weakness and use it against her. And her weakness was basically, that saving the others aspect, let her draw, just had a moment of lapse, and then that's what got her killed. But yeah, I agree. I thought it was a great scene.
Like on Kenobi, when what's her name saves the Jedi kid, saves the person at the bar because she threw the knife at, that's their weakness.
Yeah, they willing to sacrifice themselves to save others. And I'm like, okay, I mean, if you're going to kill a Jedi, distraction by killing others is a perfect way to do it. So I don't understand.
It's a cheap way to fight, so to speak. It's not a fair way to fight, but then that's what bad guys do. They pull punches like that and do sneaky stuff like that. There's a sort of a mentality of, if you don't attack the Jedi with a weapon and you attack them by finding their weakness, that's how you can kill them or destroy them. But I don't quite get, how do we square? And aren't the little knives and the little daggers weapons?
Yeah, those are weapons.
So it's like, don't attack them with weapons. Maybe don't open the attack with weapons, I guess. But then once the attack starts happening, you can grab for a lightsaber or you can use the knives, because she did go into the fights just barehanded and said, fight me. So maybe that's what it is, what it means to say don't attack with weapons.
I think she has
Who are they
two.
using their lightsabers on though? You know, because they're not fighting anybody with lightsabers, so they're gonna be more proficient in hand-to-hand combat, anyways. The Jedi, because not like they're fighting other Sith lords at this time or anything. You know.
Yeah.
So,
So, and we
Well, I
got to
suspect-
remember, like, she had almost like she has two, not really tasks, but she has two things that she wants to do. She wants to kill the 4 Jedi that did something, which I'm sure we'll touch on in a bit. She wants to kill the 4 Jedi, but her master, the stranger, is how the subtitles put it, is tasking her to defeat them without weapons. So, and she admitted to Kamir, the guy in the shop in the second episode, that she's got 2 more Jedi to deal with. She'll use no weapons for them. So you are right, Ron, where she kind of did fail that test, where it's like don't use weapons, but she also wanted to kill them. So,
Well, my question was, she does use weapons in the fight, but I think it's the starting of the fight. So don't use weapons to initiate or to start. But once you're in the fight, if they engage with you or if they fight with you, then you're free to use whatever you want.
no, I think that's why she keeps trying, because she keeps failing. You know, every single time she keeps failing.
I don't think that she's trying. She wants to kill the Jedi. It's not that she's trying to complete this task. She's like, I have 2 more Jedi to do. And, he's like, you're running out of Jedi. And she's like, I got 2 more. I got nothing to worry about. So she wanted to kill these 4 for whatever reason. But 2, she had to use weapons on once she realized that she couldn't do it with no weapons.
But she attacks the third one with Yord and the sandstorm or whatever with the knives there too. So again, I think, or she uses the knife. She doesn't start the fight with weapons. So I'm sticking to the. I think you can start the fight, so to speak. You can't attack with a weapon. You can't come out of the shadows, guns ablaze, and cyber or lightsaber or the knives and just throw them. You sort of start the attack. She says, "Come fight me." And I think that Jedi Master, doesn't pull the lightsaber right, because she could have dispatched her easily, but they want to find out who trained you. They want to find out why are you picking this, but they want to find out what they can find out versus just dispatching of them quickly, because she could have pulled the lightsaber and dispatched her at the start. But you want to find out some information, and that leads to a nice long, well choreographed and awesome looking Kung Fu style, Matrix style fight between a Jedi. So it's great.
That was something I wasn't looking forward to in the trailer. I'm not the biggest Kung Fu fight fan. I liked it in the Matrix. The Matrix is set in a fantasy sort of world. But yeah, I wasn't overly looking forward to it. But actually, I quite enjoyed it. I'd say it seemed all quite natural and stuff in here. But the idea of you're fighting someone asking who trained you, this is not Scooby-Doo. They're not going to tell you all about who they're working for. So that's a bit of a bizarre question to ask doing a fight. Nobody in the history of good versus evil is, well, they do in some things, don't they? Say, oh yes, well,
they monologue.
Bad guys do just say blab everything, don't they? But I'm not sure how often that actually happens in. And who else didn't feel a little bit, May there at the end when it goes over to the bartender and then you see the little kid and stuff. I thought, cute little kid, he's got a little kid. And obviously she's not completely seriously evil. She let the kid off and stuff. So she's kind of like a bit like a Ben Solo.
Well, yeah, she wants revenge and she's willing to kill for it. Just not kill like that kid when there's no Jedi around to do anything. She's just like, whatever. It's not worth her time almost, because we got to remember. Go ahead.
But even so, I kind of when the knife hits Endara, she has this look of shock on her face, like I didn't mean to do that kind of thing. It was an interesting expression. If you look at like the microsecond after the knife plunges into her heart, she's got this look of shock on her face. I don't think she's all. I mean, obviously, Star Wars is set up like this, where even the worst person has like a little bit of good in them. So obviously, it's not completely obliterated in her. So that was just an interesting little thing. And then after that, she turns to the bartender with the knife, and she sees the little kid. So obviously, she's not all bad. There's something there that that's still salvageable in her.
Yeah, she definitely realized at that moment that she's committed to this path, because that was the first of the 4 Jedi that she wanted to kill, apparently. And once she killed Endara, she's like, okay, so it's really begun now. I'm committed. There's no turning back. And we got to bring up the elephant in the room. Someone was stabbed and died. So Ron's favorite topic: who lives and who dies when they're stabbed by lightsabers or certain weapons, and she died. So,
or did she?
Right in the heart.
Yeah, it was well placed. In that first watch, it was in Carrie Ann Moss and everything. I'm like, oh, she died, but maybe they're gonna find, and rescue her. Or she's gonna be on the table, or she's stable, or something like that. But nope. They pretty much said, yeah, that's Jedi that's killed last night, and so they're fine. So no, it was definitely her. Definitely stabbed in the heart, and then there's precedence, or there's she has skills with poison, so there could be a poison aspect to the type of thing. But
then
I think
probably
it
bled out too.
has to be. Yeah, no, it didn't bleed.
So anyway,
she doesn't stay alive. She doesn't stay alive for a long time. She just kind of like looks up, falls to her knees, and falls. Like, it's not a big death. Like, you got to think Qui-Gon Jinn was laying there dying for a good 2-3 minutes. She just fell to her knee and then fell over, and I'm like, okay, that was a good death.
But he was stabbed in the gut, where she was definitely, the knife was definitely in the heart, so it could have been a little quicker. The thing that'll get me, that I always want to go back through Star Wars and start counting them up and figure it out. She doesn't pick up OSHA doesn't pick up her lightsaber, so her lightsaber's there. How long till the Jedi cleanup crew? How long till something? I don't know what happens when something like that happens. Who's picking up the lightsaber? Who's accounting for her lightsaber? That
probably police there that rushed to the
scene. Tell them pick up the body either.
Yeah. I'm sure it's the police. They get away from the scene. You got to think, and I like that it's even mentioned in the show, that I think in the second episode, that nobody still realizes what the Jedi do. They don't go around telling about their powers and everything like that, because in the second episode, I think it's Kamir, he says something like, don't use your mind powers or whatever it is that you do on me. But in like the book, The Living Force, it kind of does the same thing in Defy the Storm. Like, the Jedi will go to do something and they're like, don't erase my mind, and it's like, well, they don't really do that. But I love the mysticism around the Jedi. I think The Living Force directly says something like,
with
we don't
the
go around
one in the beginning.
we don't go around telling you what our powers are. We just perform good, and what people see or spread as legends, that's what happens. And I love that the shopkeeper, Kamir or whatever, Bortles, Jason Mendoza from The Good Place, for people that know.
So, okay, so going on to episode 1. So after, I haven't actually got the list exactly what happens here on Wikipedia, but after this we go to the Trade Federation scenes and stuff. And actually, I have to say, I had an internal cheer. I had my pom-poms out. I was really, really pleased to see the Trade Federation and the I was really happy.
It really connects it to like episode 1.
Really happy if Jar Jar turned up. I was really pleased to see that. It's great. It was a great sort of I'm not going to call it fan service, because they were in there for a very good reason. But I like all their little quirky bits. But they worry about their cargo, and oh no, it's a Jedi, and they go,
Yeah, they do moan, don't they? They're like, oh, gee. Not them.
That was funny. They're brilliant. And of course, when Yord then goes to use the Jedi mind trick, and the female one just blurts it all completely out.
Because and it's that same thing where in other books and stuff, they say they're like worried that the Jedi will erase your mind and bend you to their will, so
can explode your brain.
As soon as they go to raise their hand, they're like, okay, we're sorry. And it's like, I love the mysticism around the Jedi.
And then, like you say, at this point in time, nobody really knows what all they do and all. So Yord's using the Jedi mind trick on the one guy, the one Nemoidian. Does the other one gives up the information? Do they give it up? Do we think he's using it on her as well, the other one as well, or because he's using the first one?
She gave it up because they don't want the Jedi to know what cargo they've got, I think.
I think she gives it up quick so he doesn't. Oh, I like that, Stephen. So he doesn't ask more. She volunteers just the information they want, so he doesn't give up any more. Right. So he's not. My question was, he's not using the mind trick on both of them at that time. He was just on the one, but the other one gives up the information quickly, just so he doesn't hurt him anymore, or he mind flay his mind, or he gives up even more info. That works. That makes a lot of sense. I
don't know what. So I don't know what Yord's midi-chlorine level is, but I reckon his testosterone level is off the charts.
There was a neat scene
Master Yoda doesn't
when-
have that kind of testosterone level.
when he's meeting up with May for the first time, and they established that they were friends back in the day, and that he made Night 2 years ago, so it's been a while. There's a lot of great establishment dialogue going on in there. But when she goes for Pip, in her hip pocket or whatever, Yord goes for his lightsaber hilt. And I thought that, and at the time, we didn't know if it was the person we saw kill the Jedi or not. We didn't know the twin stuff. So we're also kind of on edge for that first viewing, too, is she somebody or is she not? But I really appreciated or liked that small little moment, that little beat that he knows her, he knows of her, but he doesn't trust her because he's there thinking she's the Jedi killer. And as soon as she goes for something, he was about to protect himself, grabbing his hilt. Thought that was a neat. It's very quick. You could easily be missed, but it's a well thought out theory so far.
But on that topic, was anyone surprised by the clone thing? Was that like, I'm glad they got it out of the way. Unfortunately, I had it spoiled for me before the show by just those random idiots that just post, "Hey, by the way, they're twins." I guess I should have kept that a spoiler. And I'm like, dude, we're not even talking Star Wars. So I did expect a twin from the beginning.
Everything I was reading, everything I was talking, was the elephant in the room was that was the most likely explanation. I expected
it was even a guess. Honestly, I thought it was the same. I didn't even know there was two characters that were different in the thing.
I think the actress said that she was playing two roles. That's why people initially caught on to that.
Oh, I don't watch any interviews or nothing. I just watched the trailer, and that's it for me.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything either, but I'm glad they addressed it quickly. That they didn't drag it on. I mean, there's a line in maybe episode 1, the first episode or whatever. They're like, or maybe it's the second one. I don't know, but there's a line where like it couldn't have been her. She's on your ship, and the suspect attacked the whatever. So it just, and then she didn't use the Force when she was captured and trying to rescue Pip.
And then Yord still didn't believe
to get
it.
out of her cage. She couldn't use the Force to get to pull the thing. So it's kind of like, well, okay, maybe that's. But at the time, I was thinking, well, maybe it comes to her when she's being bad, but not while she's being good. I was trying to wrestle in my head, but clearly it was the evil twin action, which I've heard some. Again, we hear people are fans don't like it. One person chimes in and it turns into thousands of them. But somebody goes on about the evil twin thing's been overdone too much. Look, it's 2024. All the tropes exist and are in play. So evil twin. The step, I don't know, whatever the tropes are that come from classical storytelling from back in the day, mythology, or come from the Matrix style fighting that's 25 years old now. It's all in play. So I hate the complaint when somebody recognizes something like the pilots going into their seats. The droid pilots, the guy messes with them, turns them into the seats. To me, that looks. I immediately thought of something like out of Airplane, the funny airplane movie, or some other movie where there was something where the autopilot comes out of the seats or something like that. It's just tropes exist. It's 2024, and it's not a valid complaint to go, "Oh, I didn't like that in this," because I recognized it from.
Preach. So that I 100% agree. There's more content than any time in history. So of course there isn't one movie every year that people see. There's constant information at people for all hours of the day. Almost nothing is a surprise unless you're M. Night Shyamalan. You got cool movies. I'm hyped for that. But anyway, I thank you for bringing it up, Ron. It drives me crazy. Oh, we've seen that before. You've seen thousands of hours of media.
You've seen everything before. It's all been done, obviously, because we live in a world where myths and stories and things like that feed off each other. Like Roman mythology is an outgrowth of Greek mythology, which was based on some other mythology, which was based on some other mythology. We're all human. We've all heard these stories all our lives, and we are, thousands of years into millennia into this.
Like the kid or the young person watching it hasn't seen it yet, so it's new to them.
Exactly.
Right.
That was the argument with the Matrix style fighting, and I'm like, well, the Star Wars: A New Hope, had Earl Flynn swashbuckling sword fighting, and that was something from before. So a kid watching the Acolyte hasn't seen the Matrix. That's a 25-year-old movie, so it's not a thing for them at all. Like A New Hope and swashbuckling sword fighting wasn't a thing for us because I hadn't seen Earl Flynn's sword fighting thing. So you're right, Ryan and Marie, that it's preach. It exists. There's so much content. Yeah, you recognized it and know what it's from. Kudos on you, but don't downplay it. And that's the nature of it. I think I've always said this, it's human nature. It's easy to talk about something badly and go, oh, the Matrix style fighting took me out of it. No, talk about how good it was, because it was good that we saw that. If every Star Wars movie and every Star Wars character Jedi, had that Matrix style fight, then maybe it'd be a little bit like, oh, let's change it up or something. But they changed it up. It wasn't a sword fight. It was a Jedi fighting Kung Fu style, dodging, parrying without weapon. Yeah, it was awesome. Come on. How do you not?
It was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It was Matrix. It was all kinds of stuff. I mean,
and it makes sense that they're trained in weaponless hand-to-hand combat. We're used to people pulling blasters on them, so of course they'll pull their lightsaber. When someone doesn't pull a blaster, they're like, "Well, I'm not going to pull my lightsaber." So it makes sense as far as the Jedi. But yeah, I was kind of bummed that the twin thing was somewhat spoiled, but they do give pretty big hints at the beginning, so there is a little bit of doubt where you're like, is she lying, is she not? And it's like, okay, well, I'm glad episode 1 they just moved that out of the way. So timelines.
I saw a good pun online which said, what was it, Crouching Jedi, Hidden Sith, which I thought was it was a good play on that movie title. Anyway, just going to skip on the episode. So Osha is put on the old prison transport. There's a mutiny on board, and then she ends up crash landing on Karlak, where she sees a vision of her Trin, which basically, that's the bit where it all becomes very clear what's going on. And these are my slight little nitpicks, so to speak, and in some respects, why was she put on a prisoner transport? Why didn't they take her back? I mean, she's supposed to kill the flipping Jedi, and they bang her on a prisoner transport.
They were in a vector. I've seen someone point out
maybe not enough room for free.
It's a I think they only got
was it really a vector?
It was like a vector. It had like forward faced wings. It was flat.
I thought that when I saw it, because people were saying online it's a vector, and I thought, well, they didn't look quite like that from what I remember.
I mean, it's 100 years later, so it's like a vector. Most likely was only the 2 Jedi type of thing. So
it's a bit like that must be also.
But they had the noodle shop owner on there somehow,
and then they knew she wasn't going to escape. They knew she wasn't going to escape.
Oh yeah, he knew that. Yeah. Well, no, he didn't. Well, did he at that point?
Well, he believed her, so he wasn't going to put her in
but still, I think precedence and everything else is setting that she has to do prisoner transport. And I didn't pick up on this, and I have no idea what a vector is or a victor is. Roger, which are Victor type of thing. What are you talking about? But I'm guessing you're trying to say the ship wasn't big enough for another passenger, is what you're saying there, that they put her on the prisoner transport. So yeah, it's a small ship, and she's a prisoner, so she needs to be on the prisoner transport. I think more so we need to discuss, or I'd like to see us discuss, the elephant in the room that is the one huge nitpick, and I just don't know how to square it, which is dropping out of hyperspace into the asteroids. Now, I loved that when the escape pods jettisoned from the disabled ship, it affected the ship's trajectory. So when you were watching it in space, and the engineer made that when that ship when that escape pod kicks off, it pushes the main ship off in a different direction. A little too much. The masses don't really equal from a real world science fiction and all that sort of stuff. But I love that they paid attention and made that happen. But it dropped out of hyperspace, and immediately the path of an asteroid was in its way, that it gets into this weird, wait a minute, I've heard some trying to escape or write it off, that hyperspace isn't point to point, or the things that are in the way, it's on a different plane, so those things aren't in your way. But we've always kind of thought of flying too close to a supernova or a star would end your trip real quick, that you have to be aware or plot thing. I don't know. I wish it would have been handled a little better. The pacing of this episode made it quick.
Think of it, Ron, like an exit ramp. So yes, hyperspace is almost like a different, because remember there's hyperspace and real space. So hyperspace.
But they disabled if they were driving, I get it, and took the exit ramp maybe, but they disabled the pilots to drop out of hyperspace somehow. So how did that change the path? I guess if the pilots are shutting down, I like this, Ryan, right? If the autopilots are shutting down, they're going to safely turn you out of hyperspace, so you don't stop in the middle of the highway where everybody else is traveling the hyperspace lanes, and the path they took them over to where these asteroids were. Maybe that could potentially square the work.
Prisoner, it could have been the prisoner too, the robot prisoner. He could have just been like, he disabled the droids and then dropped them out of hyperspace. So
right here,
They're all just mapped
didn't know where
lanes,
they were. It's
so-
just how quickly, and again, it's the pacing of the show and whatever. If you watch that scene, because I've rewatched it now, twice, 3 times, that it immediately comes out of hyperspace and then literally half a beat later crashes into that asteroid. That if it was still in hyperspace, it would have been bad. I don't know. It's a bit of a niggle for me in terms of that could have been
come out of
handled better.
hyperspace in A New Hope when the Death Star blew up Alderaan, and they're in the middle of asteroid field. You know, they didn't die. They had rocks coming at them.
It's true. Yeah.
You know,
He came out right before. Yeah, he came out right before where Alderaan was. So
it looks like we're stuck in some kind of asteroid field, and they're all getting like kind of pummeled with the rocks.
They're immediately in the asteroid field, pretty much. Yeah.
I think of it like they almost take an exit ramp, and at the speed that they're traveling, they just drop out, and they're close to the planet.
Well, that was the whole premise of the first book. Like they got yanked out of hyperspace and went on a collision course with whatever was in the way.
But yeah, they broke apart in hyperspace. So, but yeah, Ron, I just say that I noticed the trajectory thing, and I'm like, dude, I love that. So
yeah, that was small. So now again, the masses don't work. Those little escape pods are tiny. That big ship's huge. It shouldn't affect it as much as it did on screen. But they paid that much attention to the science and science fiction to at least show the trajectory changes of it. It was very cool.
So you
appreciated it.
You noticed the hyperspace dropout thing, which I didn't play it. I just
I didn't
seemed
pay
quite
attention.
normal to me. It seemed quite normal to me. I was more mystified that she managed to survive the crash land with not a scratch on her at least.
Yeah,
not a scratch. She did strap herself in. She was smart enough to be backwards and strapped herself in so she wouldn't. But when she wakes up, she's out of that thing.
She's on the
Oh,
floor.
just on the floor, exactly, and tis but a scratch, nothing on her whatsoever. It was just like, whoa.
Everything else is smashed up all around her. There's
I gotta
come down and stuff, not a scratch.
If she was still strapped in, that would have squared with me. But yeah, just lying on the floor unconscious, a little. Wait a minit, what?
Yeah,
How did she get thrown off the? Yeah.
She's a Jedi. Come on.
See, it really wasn't a
former
seat, though.
Jedi.
That's what you got to think. It wasn't a crash landing seat. It was just holding in some canisters. So it might not have been like a full seat, and it might have broke like right as it landed. But I must say, Ron, I focused more on that than them dropping close to a planet, because I'm like, okay, you're traveling at a pretty high rate of speed.
Jedi land on all fours.
They might have automatic, sensors to slow the ship down, type of thing. Because you got to think in Revenge of the Sith, they crashed a planet with almost no rockets, and they all survived. They're like full reverse, and the whole back of the ship breaks off, and all they have is the little fins to try to do it. And it's a much bigger ship, so it might have dampeners, type of thing to slow them down. It's like, okay, cool, that's fine.
And we need this. We need the story to move on. But yeah, she could have been a little bit more disheveled. A shirt untucked, a scratch across the forehead, something, a limp, a little bit of a hitch and a giddy up or something. But yeah, she just wakes up and walks off, shakes it off.
Yeah.
Nothing's on top of. How about this? At least something on top of her that she had to push away. There wasn't even debris on top of her or something. It's just, we could have had a little something there. But the pacing in that sense, the pacing of the storytelling is very well done, very good, because it's quick. It's what is George's thing? Faster, more intense. I found the pacing of the story going very well.
So roughly around about this time, we cut to that scene on the Jedi. We see the Jedi Temple, and Master Sode teaching the children, and the weird one who sees fire, and Philester comes in, open the door with a force.
Which I think that was a nice twist. I want to touch on that real quick. That like in the trailer, people were saying, "Oh, that's a flashback. That must be the young kid before she kind of goes crazy." And I'm like, just because they're of similar skin tone doesn't mean it's the same kid. I wish we would stop doing that. But I do like that he turned that into a lesson to say, yeah, the Force is water and the Force is fire. It's all consuming, it's powerful, but it can be controlled. So I love that lesson that the Force is light and, water and fire type of thing. So it wasn't, well, this is the kid sees evil. No, people see it as water, as revealed in the High Republic for the people that don't read. They see the Force as music. They see it as fire. They see it as water. They see it as strings. Like they see it as connection. So I love that it expanded on how do you see the Force, and she sees it. I think that's how the kid with Ember. I can't remember his name now in the High Republic. Everybody loves him, but I think he sees it as fire too. But yeah, I love that she sees it as a force, and he's like, you just have to control it. So anything that teaches the expansion of Jedi learning, I'm like, yeah, I like that. So I like that scene was expanded more on the trailer. So I thought
Ryan, I was such that fan that the kid talks about fire. I bought into that kid's evil. What an odd thing to say. And I think even the Jedi Master kind of quizzically like, oh, all right, so this kid goes to the fire side of it. But like you said, he then goes and explains it and says, yes, fire is powerful and consumes everything as well too, just like the water. So yeah, I agree, totally agree. That was an awesome lesson that it's not all flowers and sunshine and unicorns. That there is the fire aspect, or there is I don't want to say a bad aspect, but a destructive aspect that it can be viewed as, but you just have to respect that's how they're seeing its power, its capabilities, its consumption, it surrounds everything, or it's a part of everything, or can be a part of everything. Yeah, I agree. Expanding that Jedi lore is just an awesome piece to have to new Star Wars.
I can't remember that Jedi either. Funny how you can remember his dog, but can't remember the Jedi.
Yeah, it's an animal, dude. Of course. I'm like, oh, little Ember, and I'm like, who's the human? I'm like, I don't know, beats me. But I wanted to touch on the time. I did write down the timeline stuff, so just to kind of get everyone's ages, because that's the kind of stuff that I like. I have to see things in order in my mind, and this is going to have flashbacks. So I just want to place everything in order real quick. So, Jedi Knight Yord said he was knighted 2 years ago. Whatever, that's a little bit of information. So hopefully this is all just used for telling us where we're at in the story. Osha left the Order 6 years ago, and she joined when she was 8 years old. Master Soul says that it was 16 years ago that he found her. So she was a Jedi Padawan for 10 years, and she is now 24 years old. So there's a 10-year span that she is a Jedi, and when we get to talking about episode 2, Master Torben did something like, I think she said 10 years ago. So before she left the Order, so she left the Order 6 years ago, Master Torben that took the bearish vow did something around 4 years before that while she was a Padawan. So that's the timeline thing that I'm kind of confused about, that these 4 Jedi, Sol, Indara, Kalnaka, and Torben, did something bad, and he took the bearish vow. May knows about it, and she's killing them, but it's 4 years. It's not like whatever happened, it immediately.
I think that's part of the mystery of what we're watching.
Yeah, right? And it's not a complaint. I'm just placing our timeline.
Yeah, they're leading us down that path, Ricky. The fire is the altar, or is the crux of the start of it all. But there's obviously going to be more and more, and that's what's going to, because there's no mystery about who a Jedi was killed last night. There's no mystery about who was killed or who killed him. That was answered in the first 5 minutes. So the mystery aspect to this show is just the who, the where, the why, the intrigue, and everything that goes into why would this girl go down that path. And did she go down? I contend the crawl talks about a mysterious assassin risks being seeked out or known or something like that. And is that May, or is that the bad Sith dude that's ultimately the one that's seeking revenge and just using May as a tool, a pawn in that, corrupting her mind, doing all the stuff that they did to Kylo, and feeding his mind with bad, so that he would take the actions, take the fall, do the thing. So I think there's going to be a twist in that sense too later down the line.
May doesn't want revenge she wants it for something else, not for her dying in the fire thing. Not May. Yeah, May's the sister, right?
She did
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
They left her there for dead. I don't know.
But see,
That's why we got to watch, right? That's why we're watching to see what more that is.
I thought
So-
all four of those people were there when they found both sisters, and then she ends up dying, but they had something to do with it. That's what I was like.
I don't think they have anything to do with it. Again, I'm a pro Jedi guy, but they were all stationed there on Brendock 16 years ago, is what he said. He said we were stationed there
When they
16
found
years
them, right?
Brendock, when they found her. So, in what Ron said, I think you're 100% right, Ron, because remember, May was surprised her sister survived. So you have one sister being raised by the Jedi, being like, oh, and you have another sister being raised by the stranger that's telling her, like, your sister died, you need revenge. And then you have the Jedi that's like, your sister died, you need to accept it and move on. So I love it. Even the titles of the shows prove that, because if you notice the slashes, I forget what the title, it's just like Lost and Found. Those are the sisters. These are the paths for revenge.
I agree. I don't know if we've seen the next episodes or if they've done all the episodes, but I'm suspecting that we've seen these first two that way, that they're all going to be titled like that, a something slash something, and it's going to be describing sort of the sisters aspect of their roles of revenge versus finding, or lost versus found. Yeah, I think that's going to be a neat, clever part of this of this show, that its titles are like that.
And I didn't realize it till like today, because they literally say that May was lost and he found Osha. And then in the second episode, Master Soul says she is seeking revenge. And it's like revenge and justice. So it's just like, and you don't know which sister it is. One could want justice and the other, because he's like, what you're seeking.
Her justice is clearing her name. So,
yeah, okay, I'll take that. Yeah, that's true. I wasn't sure, because justice could be the death of Osha, as what she thinks it is, because remember, Master Soul says don't follow revenge. But regardless, it's still, I like the slash, and man, I hope they keep following it, because it tells the story of each sister in the past that they've taken. And I love stories that are about, I use Romeo and Juliet, opposite sides. I love stories where it's the rebels. I think Lost Stars, the book Lost Stars, it's these young lovers. One joins the rebels, one joins the Empire. And I love those dichotomies of looking at the two things where they're buried in, this thought. They're raised separately, and then they meet and they argue.
That's been done before. It's such a hacky trope. It's been done. Well, I want something new in Star Wars. I've seen this back and forth thing. I hate it. Exactly. No, that storytelling trope of the two, the joining the rebels, joining the Empire. That's awesome. And use it in Star Wars and have some more Star Wars storytelling for us. And it's being done well. I agree wholeheartedly.
Before we get to the end of episode 1, I did want to bring up, because again, episode 1 was loaded, so I know we're touching on a lot. I liked that Osha has been a Jedi, a Padawan, for 10 years. She knows how to use the Force, but when she goes to grab the pip droid, she can't. And Master Soul says, well, she hasn't been a Padawan she hasn't been a Jedi for 10 years. And that's been discussed in the books, where if you don't continuously keep practice with the Force, it's not that it goes away. It's just that your manipulation and powers in it kind of dwindle too. So I love that aspect that is being explored on screen now, where when we do flashbacks, she might prove to be perfectly strong and normal. But if you don't practice every day, it just kind of goes to the background type of thing, and you can't move objects. So,
and in that stressed environment of the ship crashing and being caged and everything, you got to find focus to get there, and she couldn't. This episode ends with her, or the end of the episode, she sees a vision of her sister and even talks with her and back and forth. Is that twinning, or is that Force, or is that twins with the Force? That they had. Well, it's not a dyad thing, so that's what I'm wondering. Is it twin powers, or is it twin powers that are in the Force? That she's like, May, is that you? And it's like, yes. And did you kill Indara? And yes. That she's back and forth. And in the first blush viewing, we're wondering if it's a Fight Club thing where she's having this sort of chat and fight with herself. Did you kill her? I didn't. I was on the ship being a mechanic, but you woke. We don't know that first episode, but now having seen it, she's having this weird Force vision connection with her actual sister, that she's alive and killed Indara, and she says, yeah. So I don't know. That's a neat part of having twins.
I think it is a dyad in the Force.
Well, here's why I think it's not. I think it's just the Force giving her a view of it, because at first I thought it was the sisters communicating. Well, then later in the second episode, May didn't even know that Osha was alive, so they couldn't be communicating. At first, I thought it was May communicating.
It's
with
one
her
way at this point. Yeah, it's one way at
But
this point.
May, May,
Yeah.
like, you're alive? No, my sister's dead, and that's why I love that they both thought the sister was dead. So I'm not quite sure.
So
I'm
it's
not
a
totally
search your-
invested.
maybe it's a search your feelings kind of thing. In that moment, she's having it. The Force is having her, deep dive and search your feelings. That May, is that you? And okay, search your feelings. She is alive. Did she kill Indara? Oh my, yeah, she would have. She was mad at Indara for X or Y. I don't know. Obviously, we're going to watch the series and see more and get more to help to fill that in a little bit. But you're right. In episode 1, it's a one-way communication street, because in
True.
episode 2 we realize May is learning that Oshi, because that's where she says Oshi. She calls her, she's surprised to see her in the flesh, that Oshi's alive. So she's been brainwashed or been getting told a story about how her sister's dead. So that's what's going to make this series very intriguing and fun to watch, because it's going to fill in and detail and have to discuss all those things and address them.
Okay, so
I think we should get to the end of the episode 1 and the way it ends.
It's ending with the.
I was waiting for that, Ron. I was waiting for that.
Yes, and the great
Because-
speech. I've been looking for the speech on the web as you was talking. I can't find anybody who's good at all quoted, but it was a good speech to May, but from whoever the Sith personnel is. And
Well, I
not
think the last line is that an acolyte kills, or an acolyte kills him, or but an acolyte
No, it's
kills without a
You
weapon.
can't-
That's what it was.
you can't kill with steel or laser, but an acolyte kills the dream. Which, and again, you can kill with that, but killing one Jedi, or multiple Jedi with lasers and knives doesn't end the Jedi. What kills them is the idea of the Jedi, and that's what Palpatine does. He destroys the Order by spreading misinformation. So when they're like, the Jedi attacked me and I had to kill them all, people are like, oh my gosh, I knew it, because the spread of misinformation. So we're seeing those seeds planted. That to get rid of the Jedi, you must tear down what they mean, so you have this mystery. You must expose their mistakes, type of it, because they're not perfect gods. They're fallible. They're going to make mistakes. One took the bearish vow. One is, Kalnaka's leaving himself in the woods. Soul's training youngsters. They're trying to make up for whatever this problem that they did or caused or something. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I just hope the Jedi don't end up looking like jerks. But I love that you have to kill the idea of the Jedi, and you can't do that with weapons, and that's what the stranger is telling them.
That the dialogue's not kill a Jedi in terms of dispatching one and taking one off the board. It's kill the Jedi as a construct, as a way of going thing. Kill that dream that they live in. Yeah, it is a powerful speech. Did anyone watching it first time? Did the episode end abruptly though? Like, the guy says kill the Jedi or whatever, an acolyte kills the Jedi's dream or whatever that last line is, kills the dream, and it's immediate iris wipe. It needed another half a beat to sort of marinate into what he just said. I do think it sort of. I was taken back by it. It really was. It was like, whoa, oh man, pay attention here. That was that was abrupt, I guess.
Yeah,
That's the nature of this,
it ended
'cause
abruptly
episode
for
2
me,
did
but
it
then
too.
it jumped.
I
Yeah,
think
it
it was
ended abruptly
great,
for
too.
me, but then we were fortunate that we jumped into another episode, because 2 episodes dropped this time. So the
So
wait
happy.
between episodes is going to be very, very
painful.
yes, painful and long for me.
Although at the time of recording, we've only got 2 more days to wait. You guys have anyway. I've got
Yeah.
3.
You're in the future. You tell us. You live
I'm
in
in
the
the
future
future,
over there.
but I have to wait longer. So it's not.
Yeah, then you need the lottery numbers too, Chancellor.
Yeah, I'm working on that one.
All right, so let's move. Like you say, let's roll to
Roll to
the
two.
second episode of this, which was good as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so the second episode is called Revenge / Justice. So May attempts to kill Jedi Master Torben in the temple on the planet Oliga, but is prevented by his forced meditation. Torben has been floating in silent meditation for over a decade. Fenesta sends Sol, Jackie, Yord, and Usha to investigate this attack. May regroups with her supplier, Kimar. How do we say that's pronounced? Kimar?
Chimere.
Kamar.
Chimere.
Kamir, yeah. Who is helping her hunt the 4 Jedi that were stationed on her and Osha's home planet, Brendok, at the time of the fire. Indora, Torben, Sol, and the Wookiee Kanaka. Kamir provides May with a poison and warns her that she still needs to kill one of the 4 without a weapon. There's only one of them. I thought it was all of them. Anyway, May offers the poison to Torben as absolution for his past. He stops meditation and willingly takes it, dying just as the others arrive. Damn it. May escapes and Osha poses as her to get information from Kima. He reveals the assistance of May's master and her overall plan. That night, Sol confronts May and reveals to her that Osha is alive. Osha attempts to stun May but misses. Or does she deliberately miss? I thought she did. And May escapes. She later threatens Khmer over talking to the Jedi, but he convinces her to spare him because he has learnt that Kanaka is not on the planet Kufar. So that sort of says it's only one of them has to be killed by. Only one of them has to be killed without a weapon.
Yeah, that's like the test.
I thought it was all of them, but never mind. Yeah. So
when you do that, then you become
coming down through the window. Her May's method of attack and escape seems to be coming down through windows and going up through windows like Spider-Man sort of thing. It was a great little trick to get into the Jedi Temple, but I don't understand. She walks down the corridor. She walks past Jedi. So I don't know.
She has a mask on. People coming.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, it's been like.
I seem to think she walked past worker bees. Like there was a scene. She hides in the corner while some Jedi were in the hallway. Waits for them to go away, but then she does stroll down the hallway, and I think those would be like the minions. So there's all kinds of Jedi. They don't know who's who in there, so they're not going to say anything. But the actual Jedi might question, "Hey, who are you?" I don't know. It was a little weird, but it was quick pacing and got where she needed to be.
They're not at war or anything, so they're not really paying attention like they were in Clone Wars,
Yeah, and it's
a
temple. People come and go all the time.
I mean, Dooku snuck in there and changed erased the planet from the map.
Yeah, right. The most secure, and he wasn't a Jedi at the time, so he just was a secure place.
He's like, I'm here because I like the coffee.
So let's talk about her address. She walks past whoever she walks past and gets away with it too. She finds Torben quite quickly, or I think it's Torben, right? The meditating guy, and that was an awesome scene. It was just like, wait, he's meditating. He's going to be easily dispatched, and then she goes attacking him, or she does her, attack me with all your force thing or whatever, and does her thing without weapons and finds a force field, a very powerful force field.
Did you notice when she was attacking the force field, she can't get past the force field, but his cloak moves with the wind, the breeze of her attacking.
Yeah, I noticed exactly. It wasn't that awesome.
So, but we'll just go underneath him, and give him a kick up the bum.
Because it's not a physical thing; it's just the force.
Yeah, it's the force protecting him in meditation, but the wind of her movements is still affecting his loose robes. Oh, that was a neat haven't seen that before in Star Wars. Star Wars storytelling trope haters. So yeah, I love that. I thought that was very well done.
How does he go after him?
We're not getting into the minutia of him being in a completely meditative state, but
meditative state, he doesn't have to do normal things like eat or
stay there.
He's like in stasis kind of thing. Yeah.
Jedi, I mean, it's a thing in the expanded universe, universe, where they can go into stasis. They don't have to eat, or they can go into like a sort of hibernation mode.
Yeah.
Or they say he hasn't talked to anyone in 10 years, and everyone extrapolates or assumes he's been in that meditative state he could have not talked to anyone, but he could have comes out of that meditative state to do what he needs to do, eat and poop. But that's not what we need to chat about. It's he's in a meditative state, and he's so connected with the Force that the Force is protecting him from an attacker. Come on. That was cool. I mean, she even threw the daggers at him, I think, and then they clinked off. It wasn't a Force shield by a shield generator. It was a field surrounding him because of his connection to the Force. I don't know. I thought that was a powerful bit of
literally
Force.
a force field generated by the Force.
Yeah, I thought that was a very powerful piece of Force mythology that we hadn't quite seen before, like a Force projection or something that you can get if you can connect with the Force in such a powerful way, the Force will protect you while you're in that state from any sort of aggression or attacker. Come on, that was awesome.
That's why I absolutely love whenever there's something Star Wars that has like tons of Jedi in it, like in the prequels of this, because like you get to see these different Force powers that we didn't get to see in the OT. It's like one Jedi and he dies. So this is like cool, and I hope in the future when they do the more sequels past Force Awakens and stuff like that we get to see this kind of stuff more, because it's really neat that he can just sit there like a monk and be meditating and you can't touch him because he's vulnerable, but then he's like in an avatar state.
MC Corbin, you can't touch me.
Yeah, I was confused with Torben because I was immediately thinking buckets of blood from the books.
No, dude, we got to touch on that real quick. So you have Master Torben from Torben Buck, and you have Master Indara, which is pretty close to Indira Stone. So just I'm like, dude, if you're gonna talk about the High Republic, don't use names that are so sounding similar and even spelled pretty close. Like I said, minus an E or an I. It's like right there with some of the most popular characters. I'm just like,
I didn't get that he was named Torben. When they said Torben, I'm like, what? I didn't see him in that room. I was like looking and then like, oh, it's this guy. I'm like, okay. It took me out of it for a second.
Yeah, anybody a little different.
Anybody else think the scene about the tat on the arm is going to come into play so that we can determine who's who? That later down the line or whatever, somebody's going to be somebody, and she's going to be playing it off. May's going to be trying to be Osha, but because she doesn't have the tat on their arm, we're going to know, or that Jedi Master is going to know. I don't know. That was an odd scene to put in there, unless it's going to carry some weight somewhere down the line as a marker. Hey, with that, whoever's fighting the first Jedi Master, Indara, the Carrie Ann Moss or whatever, she looks at her forehead and says it's you or something, and there's like a white. Yes. Did anyone catch that? Like above her left eye.
There's like a mark, like a tribal mark almost.
Yeah, like a mark on there, and I wondered. And she wears her hair. We haven't seen it yet again since. But okay, I'm not the only one. You guys did catch there was something on her forehead.
I saw the second one. It's the same symbol that the witches have got, isn't it? Have we seen in the trailers and stuff?
Yeah, remember the trailer? The mother, she has gold tattoo on her forehead. So whatever gang.
Oh no, I don't recall dissecting the trailer enough to. Anyway, so you guys picked up on that as well. So there's both of those distinguishing marks to help tell them apart easily enough. Or does that only come available or come shine when she's in the Force, or her hair's just in the way? So anyway, back to episode 2.
I just look at what they're wearing. One wears lighter colors and like a mechanic's the other wears.
But there's going to be a time when they're trying to deceive the show or trying to deceive us, and that's going to be the tell for us. What I suspect.
In this episode, Kamar gets deceived by Osha.
But for like 5 seconds, he twigs right away.
Yeah,
but he does give up the information that they wanted. He does. He definitely catches it soon enough, but he definitely gives up the information they need. That he says that he made the poison. It confirms that he made the poison, or whatever. Or did it work, or something like that? And then he says he will be pleased, or something like that. That gives the Jedi Master enough of, because that was a bit of a comic line. He says, "Who's he?" And he's and I don't know the names yet. The apothecary guy, imposter, whatever, says, "I don't know. It's you. I thought he was with you," referring to Yord. And they didn't address it any further. I thought that was funny and interesting that he didn't. Didn't say, be serious, or I want to know who it is.
That guy, he was playing dumb. So I think.
At one point in time, I thought maybe he might be the, what do they call him, the stranger? In a role. You think so? He would have picked up on Osha being Meg quicker if he was the stranger. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
he,
he's
I
like
think
a
he
Unless
knew.
it's deliberate.
he's like
Yeah.
a lackey for the stranger.
Yeah, because he
Probably is,
definitely
but
knows
we-
who he is.
Yeah.
He knows her tasks and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So he definitely know or works with him too, because the stranger could have, a multiple of people, but he's just like, yo, yeah, works for him. But I thought that was real powerful acting where he gets like right up close to her and kind of looks her up and down. He's like, you look just like her. I was like, oh, it just felt like kind of like he was gonna do something crazy. I'm just like, okay, that's pretty cool. And he's a good fighter because when May tried to kill him, he dodged her a couple times. So he's like whoop whoop, whoop and then like grabbed her when she goes to stab his throat. And he's like, the Jedi are right there watching. So Kamir or whatever, he's no joke. He's not just some lackey. He's got some fighting skills. May wasn't able to kill him when she tried. When she's like, you sold me to the Jedi. And he like dodged her swings. And I'm like, oh, Kamir's got some skill.
Yeah, he's there kind of for comic relief, but kind of not. There's
Yeah,
there's
have
like
So his
an
story
aura
was
of
he
threat.
killed the shop owner, right? That's the whole
Yeah,
thing. He took
Yeah,
over.
yeah, pretty much. I just took it over. One of those where he just kills it and he's just like, I'm new in town.
And I'm wearing his
I just
clothes.
took it over.
Yeah,
like-
I'm trying to blend in,
okay.
and somebody points out that it's not their regular guy or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of weird that the place wouldn't be a little bit more up in arms, especially an apothecary. He's like, where's Fred? I need him to fill my, I don't want this new guy knowing about my my warts prescription or whatever. I need where's Fred? I don't want to talk to you about that. That was a little strange, but he needed to be the guy that's in the apothecary taking over so that he could mix up the poison or whatever it was that they made and did what they needed to do. But a little
Get
strange.
close to also get close to the Jedi too. I mean, he's right across the
Yeah.
street, the Jedi. So, and it's just like, oh, he can be like, oh, Fred's on vacation, and they're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We trust everybody in this galaxy.
Well, there's
Yeah.
been peace for what, 100 years, 1,000 years.
Yeah, peace, even though the Nile exists. But yeah,
Peace in
there's
peace
been
in
war
inverted
for
commas.
centuries.
They said there
Yeah.
wasn't war, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
I lend towards the war. There's not obviously there's bad elements throughout that they have to deal with or tamp down or otherwise address, but there's not a full scale empire or war or there's peace for the most part. You can go
Right.
about your way. There's no over commanding force or entity that's I need to see your credits or your chain codes and all that sort of stuff that the empire puts in place. So there's peace.
Yeah, I mean, if someone captured a third of the United States, even for only 2 years, I feel like we'd be like, yeah, there was peace. Well, except for that one time, that was pretty nuts, wasn't it? For like 3 years. Okay, but
Yeah.
anyway, like
Touche,
when someone
touche.
captures a third of the galaxy, it's like, peace, except for that little.
the Nile don't count.
Yeah,
So the Nile captures 2/3 of the Republic or something.
Yeah.
sanctioned off a quarter of the
So-
galaxy, something crazy like that. So
So
But they weren't
so
like
May,
outward
she
fighting.
gets-
Yeah.
May gets back into the Jedi Temple awful easily the second time. Like she knows about the sunroof, so she gets back in that way the second time easily. While the Jedi are at the front door confronting the little girl
But they knew
about
she
how
was
they
there.
got in or whatever.
But they knew she was there though, so somebody saw her.
They knew she had been there. She didn't know that because they were both there at the same time. They're at the front door confronting the little girl, and she's in there with Master Torben saying, "Here, drink the potion." So, they missed her by that much, if you will, so to speak. So she came in through the sunroof the way she escaped, so if you will, while they're at the front door making their way through the catacombs. It was weird how Osha and Yord, who ultimately, following her, steal off one way and get to Torben quicker than the Jedi who were taking the long way around or stopped at the commissary for a snack. That was strange, to say the least, but it needed to happen in order.
they were talking to the other Jedi. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, we have someone try to break in. They're questioning.
Yeah, they were standing there for a while.
Yeah, they were just kind of be like, well, they didn't expect you to come in and kill him right away in the middle of
Right. They don't know she's there, so that's what I mean, the timing of it all. But they get to Torben's dead body through Path A. Osha and Yord get to Torben's dead body through Path B, but they were, or Path C, let's say, because they were all on Path. They all started on the same path, and then she breaks off. It's just weird how she got to him before they did. But
Maybe she
as
just
you
knew
said,
there was a
Ryan, they were
shortcut.
talking. They didn't know that he's dead until the one Jedi Master does kind of sense it in the Force, and they could have been talking to other people or interviewing other people, or otherwise took the long way to get to him to ask him questions versus There's not that Ocha knew the short way there, but she's following. I don't know. The Force or something's guiding her to the short way.
It was whatever of the Jedi that was running that, and his like his huge Padawan's really tall Padawan that was next to him. Remember, they were stopping. They just kind of talked to him for like a minute or two, and she just was like, boop, just beat feet. I do like because I like Yord. He's like a rule follower, a little jumpy, but I like that he stuck up with her. So I feel like there's some trust building because he didn't trust her, even though they know each other. It was like he just steps right out and he's like, no, she's innocent. No. I watched her because he didn't trust her. That's why he followed her. Well, what are you doing? And then he's like, oh, it wasn't her. There's something going on. So a little character change there with shirtless Yord type of thing. So
they know that when he says it, it's true because he's trustworthy. Because he's honest.
Did he follow? Did we see? Did we know Yord? We know she broke off from the pact. Do we know that Yord saw that and followed her? Or do we learn that in the scene where the Jedi Master's dead, where he then comes down the steps and says, oh, I followed? Right, that was a surprise to us that he followed her, too. We just thought she broke off from the pack and was wondering how she was allowed to do that. But I thought I know but I don't know that we were shown him not letting her out of his sights. But I thought it was cool and quick, fast-paced in your story. They didn't sit on it very long or whatever, because we see her find the dead body. We see her put her fingerprints on the vial of the poison, and you just all the storytelling tropes that you've watched everything ever before. You're just like, oh my God, no! What are you doing? They're setting her up to to take the downfall. And that's all erased in mere seconds by Yord coming in and going, nope, wasn't her. I watched it, saw the whole thing. He was dead before we got here. So as quickly as that was entered into play as here we go, we're going to have this trope, it was immediately erased by him coming in and saying, nope, wasn't her. So kudos. I think this has been a fun.
Moving quick. Yeah, like you said, it's moving. It's hitting the main point.
Well, then, is he a master or is he just a knight? He's just a knight, right?
He's just a knight
2 years ago.
Yeah, it was knighted. So,
but like Ryan said, I think Ricky said he's establishing trustworthiness, but he's this weird rule following type.
Yeah, they know he's not the one that's gonna make up something.
The masters are a little bit more laid back. He was just knighted, so he feels like kind of like a cop on edge type of thing. He's got to prove himself type of thing. I'm going to steam
on the edge. He's on edge. He's on edge.
He's a rookie. He needs to prove himself to the cops that have been on the beat for a while.
Yeah, Ryan said he just turned knight over, so he's just been indoctrinated with rules after rules and all that stuff that your masters teach you. So then he's trying to use that, and then once he becomes the master's like, okay, well, yeah, we taught you all that stuff to get you to this point, but you also then have to slow your roll a little bit and go with your gut, or I trust her, and you're a rookie. So now you're listening. You're sure you're a cop, but you're a rookie cop. So now there's another level of learning that is listening to the masters in the real world, not just the training that we give you.
Yeah, so you got to know when to hold them and all that.
So
I like
if he was in the prequel trilogy, I can imagine him saying the line, "But what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?"
Exactly.
Yeah, would be say that one.
Where is Kiari Mundi? He should be there. He's somewhere around there.
I don't think he lives that long, right?
Yeah, he does.
Wasn't he in this space? Yeah. Anyhow, this episode ends with the Wookiee, the Jedi Wookiee on the Endless Planet stuff, which is also another fist pumping sort of moment.
Well, before we get to, they gave her Yord being Yord. He was mad about giving her the stun gun. We didn't realize what it was at the time. But gives her a weapon that was huge and awkward and what is it, whatever. And then we find out it's a stun gun. And I love it should be bigger and dumber and awkward and whatever, because it's 100-year older tech, right? That it shouldn't be concise and like we've seen everywhere else. It should be this sort of bigger power, like cell phones just but a couple years ago were huge things with their battery packs. That stun gun should be oddly, weirdly shaped like that. And so that's what it was. And we learned that it was a stun gun. She definitely missed, right? Does everyone think she missed on purpose?
I think she missed on purpose twice.
You see her hand move like a millimeter when she goes to fire it. She's like, ugh. If you watch it, only that gun, you see her go to pull the trigger and it moves like just a millimeter to the left. And it's just
that's why he looks at her too. He's like, I know you missed on purpose.
But remember, Yord calls it, because that was Yord's idea. He's like, we walk in and we stun them, so Yord called it a stun gun. So and then that's when Jackie took it and then gave it to her. And Jackie's like, why don't we just have May? Why don't we just have OSHA talk to Kamir, the shopkeep?
Yeah.
And that's when they're like, oh, so remember, it was
It
your
did
idea.
the ring thing too, didn't it? When it came out.
The ring? Yeah, it did. It was like, phew, and it made everything spark.
Those are definitely spark.
Yeah, Yord called it a stun gun because his idea was, let's just go in there and just handle business. And it's, no, let's check the surroundings and let's just have this person do it. A little out of the box thinking by Padawan Jackie. So I thought that was neat.
Yeah, she seems to speak up a lot more than other Padawans would. she questions something.
Permission to speak freely, sir.
Yeah, isn't she the one that keeps asking about permission to speak freely, and then he finally says you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that each time. So yeah, she might start speaking a little bit more.
She's learning. You see, she wants to impress her master as a Padawan, and Yord wants to impress masters as a knight. So I like the two different, generations, you can call them. They're a couple years apart enough to where they're both kind of learning their own ways. One's following the rules. One is like, I want to speak freely with your permission. I'm going to tell you what I think. And Yord is like, but this is the jet. It violates 13 precinct things or whatever. And it's just like, Yord, just calm down, please. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
So
everything will be fine. I mean, I work in a field where you can be very flexible with the rules. You kind of know how you have to know how to bend them without actually breaking them. So I saw that a lot. It's just like he doesn't know how to bend the rules yet.
I do like how they first show him and he's like ironing his tunic because he has to look the part. He has to have you have to have a good uniform and be presentable, and it does show that he's like by the book.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm hoping he loosens up a little bit for a little character growth story. So I'm like, okay, excited to see where it goes.
Oh, he will. Charlie Barnett is we're gonna end up loving that character.
Yeah, I know him from Russian Doll. He was good on that show too.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, but the whole mystery of what's going on and like the two paths that these sisters are taking on opposite sides of, aka war, is what has me hooked. Just like Ahsoka, the story is, and the mystery of what Balin was doing had me hooked, and I'm here to experience the story, and it just happens to have cool lightsaber fights and stuff inside of it. So I'm hyped as heck for the show. I'm in love with it.
Yeah, me too. I love Leslie Headland's work, and that's one thing that's got me really excited. And I also really want a pip droid, so I hope they bring out like one of those as a toy.
I need a new fire extinguisher anyway, so let me get a pip droid.
Yep.
Okay,
so the ending, I guess we'll touch on that. It's just
the Wookiee.
Yeah, he was cool to see. It wasn't as crazy as episode 1 ending. It's just like, hey, he's obviously taking his own.
That's Jonas, right? That's Chewbacca.
That's Jonas Suotamo, or however you say his name.
Good for him, man. But yeah, I thought that was cool. So
Steven can say his name. Good.
He's just
no.
I don't think he's lost on the planet or anything. I think he's just like kind of like the other master, Torben. He's just, I need silence. I'm going to shave my head because I'm crazy. Or he has alopecia. I don't know. Maybe Wookiees go bald. Beats me.
Like he took the hairless bow.
Yes.
I love his little Wookiee top knot. His little man bun.
It's something new and different, so I have to give it for being creative. So otherwise, because he's still wearing a single bandolier like Chewbacca, so it's like, well, how we got to make these Wookiees a little bit different, other than just the color of their fur. So give him a samurai.
He's a little different.
Like, okay.
What else could he wear? A shirt and bow tie and a Hawaiian shirt.
Lederhosen.
Wear pants like the rest of the galaxy.
We have a Wookiee that perms the whole body.
Groucho Marx glasses.
We have a curly Wookiee.
We've already had one Zero the Hutt. We don't need like another like weird Wookiee that like perms everything.
Oh jeez.
Wookiee with lipstick and eyelashes and and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hey, no,
shaved patterns in the fur.
Oh, he can have like the line on the side of the head.
In the fur.
Like, imagine a Wookiee with like a mullet or like the steps in the hair. Dude, that would be
oh my god.
A flat top? Dude, you just opened up a world for me right there, Ron. Like, oh my god.
I got a Wookiee with dreads. That looks awesome.
Oh my
A
god!
Wookiee with a high top fade.
Dude, this is amazing. This is a new world. This is incredible, man. Like a mullet Wookiee, like that would be so.
Well, just think, like, we only had Chewbacca for so long in live action, and then we got Chrysanthemum, and now we have Kalnaka. So
They can like
So-
shape a symbol into their chest. I don't know, like for the Packers, shape a big whatever football team. That'd be awesome.
Wisconsin.
He does
Yeah,
look
it's
a
a big
little bit
W.
like the Sasquatch, though, in the beef jerky commercial, though.
I knew you were gonna say
It
that.
does have a little bit of look to, there is a little bit of that. Those two, put them side by side, they could be cousins.
As long as it
let's
doesn't
say,
look like Harry
maybe.
and the Hendersons, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, touche, right. It's tough to make it's just tough to make a Wookiee, to not look like a Sasquatch, because that's what they look like. But yeah, that top knot or whatever, I don't know, he just had a little bit of a look to him at first that was that Sasquatch but still, like you say, it's hard to differentiate Wookiees. Unless they start shaving their hair or dyeing it or something. What was Chrysanthemum? Was just dark haired, right? He just
Yeah.
had a bunch of
And
stuff on him.
Tarful, I
gonna
don't
be
know if
tough.
Tarful was actually live a person in the suit or if it was just CGI. In episode 3.
I
A lot of
think
those
he was
Wookiees
a
are
person in a suit.
Person in a suit, I thought, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Which one's Tarful?
Chewbacca's
one
like
with, one with
mentor.
Chewbacca, basically. Yeah.
One that
Yeah.
carries
Chewbacca's
Yoda, I
general or
think.
whatever.
Yeah, in episode 3.
It's the hair technology was not that good. I mean, that's the time of Monsters Inc. and they just kind of figured it out. Like it had to be relatively suit for the most part. The only ones that were CG were like real zoomed out and screaming like Tarzan.
Yeah, when they're waving their arms. But I think they were just like they superimposed the other ones on there. I don't know. But yeah, I'm always happy to see Wookiees. I love Wookiees.
Okay.
But yeah, how well fleshed, it felt very well done from nothing felt like there were only 2 people in the background of the scene or there were only 4, boxes and crates over there. Everything felt lived in and felt very well thought out from
there were some
all the
very
places
good.
and all the entrance, because we visited a lot of places. That's the beauty of the volume and the technology and everything else today, practical sets or whatever it was. We visited a good number of places in 2 episodes that none of them felt Book of Boba Fetish chintzy in terms of the backgroundness fleshed out.
Oh, that was all desert.
Yeah, touche. There was a desert in that sense, but there's still some scenes where there were like 20 people in the crowd thing or something. But
There was a good lot of variety of aliens and stuff, background aliens and costumes and that kind of stuff in this.
Yeah.
How about one of the scenes? I guess it's got to be in the first one. They're on a ship. I don't know. They had what looked to be a gonk droid because it walked like a gonk droid and was
those
kind of
are
shaped
mini
like
ones?
a gonk droid. But it was 100-year-old tech earlier, not as refined gonk droid. That kind of
Yes.
stuff is fun to notice and see and appreciate. That it has to be older tech. It has to be a little off, a little bigger, a little not as refined and sleek or whatever you want to say. That's fun.
Yeah. And I like that there's places like Naboo and Coruscant that exist in this universe, but there's also places that are still kind of like gritty and dirty and have that used future kind of look. Not everything's not all sleek and modern and things like that.
Well, and then we get to see a Jedi temple that's not the temple on Coruscant. It's just a normal little, satellite temple. In the High Republic books, that's where they all are stationed at. And in the Living Force books, those are the ones that they're shutting down, right, Ryan? Like the older ones that aren't used anymore. So
Yeah.
So so it's nice to see something like they just hang out there. It's kind of Adobe, and there's little.
They're like
paths.
missions.
Yeah, they're like little missions, which is cool because that's what they did. They would just
And it's got
stay in
like
the town and
Jabba
help
the
out.
Hutt ring bell as well on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That kind of stuff. Yeah. so
Speaking of
that's
Wookiees, Steven, like I've been playing as the Wookiee on Hunters.
Well, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
As one would say. Yes. Because we're going to talk
So for
about
people that didn't know, as we mentioned before, like the game Hunters dropped on, unfortunately, it's only for mobile right now and for Switch, which is a really weird choice because games like Multiversity, where it's like the DC with Scooby versus Shaggy versus Superman, that released on like all platforms, just like Fortnite 2, where it's just kind of free to pick up and you could buy skins and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that it expands a little bit more to make it easier for, I don't know. I don't really mind because luckily I have a Switch, so it's like, but it's always good to fight. But I've been loving the game. It scratches that itch where it's like you get to unlock things. The screens are really busy with like a lot of things to explore. I like trying to friend people. I wish I could talk with them so I could be like, go over to the corner and guard it. Like, so I could tell people to not just wander aimlessly that I play with. So, but I can imagine if there's 4 people on a team all talking at once. I watch my kid play stuff like Gorilla Tag, and I'm like, no. That's probably why there's no open chat on something like Switch for that, because I don't want a bunch of skibbity crap. If kids shouting.
Do that on Fortnite when you play with 4 people. You can all chat. But
yeah,
friends.
I can understand it for people you don't know. You're playing against random people. I think even like we did with a trial buddy match. I think that you could open that.
Nintendo's really weird about doing
agree to it. It'd be nice to have the chat.
Yeah, Nintendo really doesn't like to do games that have that feature because they don't want to be liable if anyone
Yeah.
So they only
something
do certain
goes
ones
sideways. They don't want to be
Yeah.
liable, which is silly, but it is a thing.
So for generally the people that haven't been following it for 2 freaking years like me waiting on it, this is technically a canon in universe story. Because they released a book, which is on my list to read, called Star Wars Hunters, audiobook and a book. And you just have to view it like this isn't like a big war between Sith and all this other stuff. And again, I haven't read the book. This is what people kind of tell me. It's almost like in-universe wrestling.
Yeah,
these are all characters that they play. They're trying to win things. And I guess only Ricky and Steven are the other ones. But if you notice, when you started the game, there was like a little cutscene, and I think it said something like Reva won the match or whoever it was, which I think is the girl with the lightsaber. So it's literally telling you that there's a champion already, that they won the previous one. And I'm like, well, maybe that's because the book is the prequel to this game.
Yeah, I haven't read that book either.
It's been on my list for a long time, but I've been trying to get the High Republic so hard I lost focus of it. But now that someone said, no, think of it like a wrestling story where these are all characters. It's canon. I didn't know exactly when it takes place, whatever. So I just hope it's like, well, how does this girl get a red lightsaber? Does she buy it? Maybe it's not a lightsaber. Maybe it's a stun saber type of thing. Like that's the kind of thing that I hope if they're treating it as real. And not just that, we need kind of stories. And there's a droid. So there's a droid that thinks it's a Jedi. There's a girl who obviously has the Force because she Force pushes things. There's 2, the Utini. What are they? Jawas? No, they're 2.
Jawas.
Jawas. There's 2 Jawas play together. There's random rebels. There's a stormtrooper. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. And the thing is, the skins that they can really, and this is how they make money. It's a free game like Fortnite, and hopefully I did buy the pass to try to get the character and the skins. Well, I want to support the game. I want it to be around for more than Multiversity lasted like a year, and they shut it down. So I want it to kind of do good. So I'll throw they dropped it for like 6 months, revamped it, and brought it back. So, but I'll throw $2 or $3 at it like once a month to try to keep it there. But I chose my username as TK1138. So I'm hoping that they have a first order skin. It's not just stormtroopers because
no, it's not TK.
What's that?
Yours isn't TK.
No, mine's FN1138. So I'm a first order. Oh, did I say TK?
Yeah, you said TK.
Okay. So, I'm FN because I was trying to name my character so fast. I wanted TK1138, but I just chose FN because, it's early in the game. You could probably get cool names that you like that are Star Wars related without all sorts of weird numbers. Yeah. So, I got that character. I loved playing as
Senator Binks and it was taken. I was like, and then I tried Representative Binks and it was too long. I'm like,
Rep Binks. We could be Rep Binks. Yeah, so I've loved it so far. I've played it like 10 hours. It, like I said, it scratches that itch to unlock things, to level up characters. I've played ranked a little bit, but then I stopped playing ranked because I lost 10 times in a row. So I was like, you know what? You do, but I don't like losing. So I went back to casual. And now I'm just boosting up my characters. And I've really loved Xana, the healer. You know, it's the Sentinel's easy to play as a stormtrooper, but I love going around as a healer and just following the Sentinel around, and she heals like every 6 seconds. I can throw stuff down, so I've really enjoyed being a support player because that's how I play in Fortnite too. I'm not good at it. My kid's really, really good at it. So I just carry a bunch of health and then carry some long distance weapons because he runs in and fights face to face. I shoot him from a distance and he comes to me and I heal. So I've enjoyed this role of just being like, you know, he doesn't play the Star Wars game. He still loves Fortnite. But I've enjoyed this role of being like a healer of support in the game. And that's what I'm trying to find friends for. Again, FN1138, if you want to look me up. So, but if someone wants to play a Sentinel, I will stand there and heal him the whole time. I shoot him with my gun. I've loved it. I've bought some skins. You know, I'm hoping to see a lot more crazy, weird skins. So I'm just excited for it. I've waited 2 years, and I think it's working out really well. I'm going to read the book once I'm done with Living Force. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's just funny looking at people's Star Wars names.
You seem to find all the dodgy ones. I haven't noticed anything like that yet. But maybe I've got the. I don't know,
But it is cool that we can play cross-platform because you're playing on mobile and we're on the Switch and you can still play with us.
I've now started looking at every name of every person I am playing with on different teams and stuff. I still haven't yet seen anything rude.
I try to look for like the deep cuts of like Star Wars names, like if somebody does something from a book or something. So that's always.
I found someone called the Nile today. Just was like Nile. And I'm like, yes, someone who knows what the Nile are.
Then you know who the actual fans of Star Wars are playing because they
like the deep
cut things.
Yeah, for obviously for people listen to this don't know, I don't really play games much apart from say Words with Friends is all the games I pretty much play in a pinball game the last 10 years. But I did install this on my iPad and I have been playing it, although I am awaiting the gamepad controller to come tomorrow because I spend most of my time staring at walls and walking in the wrong direction because the touchpad controls are horrendous.
I don't know how you play without shoulder buttons, man. I mean, when I thought about it, I feel bad. And I'm kind of happy it doesn't work. I mean, I'd still waste time at work if it worked on my phone, but I don't know how. I don't play games like that on my phone, so I don't know how you use two sticks to move and shoot at the same. I just don't know how those games work really.
Like I used to try to play Fortnite on my phone too, but I would have my controller with me. And
I think probably our generation where we used to having, like I said, we used to having something in my hand to play with and that kind of stuff. I think if you brought up on mobiles and iPads, maybe kids would be more able and more used to it. Whereas I'm always used to having a joystick. We used to always have a joystick and then have to use gamepad, a controller for certain things. So I'm just starting to get used to using the controller. But before that, I was always using joysticks. So I just couldn't use the keyboard or anything.
It felt like it was like May the 4th again because we had a new show and then we had a new game. What's going on? It's great. There's like so much stuff.
So I'm hoping that I won't suck with the controller once I get it and I get used to it, of course, that I will get better and I'll be able to at least walk around without. It's terrible.
Marie needs to download it for the Switch so she can play with this.
Yeah, I have to find somewhere to strategic to park myself off and then just start shooting it from various different levels and stuff, and that's how I play the game most of the time. Because if I start running around, I get, like you said, I end up like staring at the sky and staring at walls and not really know because I just can't. My brain can't compute the controls.
Here's some quick tips for people that have been driving me crazy. Don't run off by yourself and do 1 versus 4. As a healer, it's very difficult when there's 3 people going in every different direction. And then you're fighting 3 people against 1. So realize that if you're choosing a tank character that is high damage and absorbs a lot of punishment, stay next to a healer where you can do lots of damage, or like a melee, like the Wookiee character. Get a healer on the team. And if you're going to use a character that moves around a lot, like the Mandalorian character, Altera or whatever, Zaltera, whatever it is, or Varman Nex, whatever the girl that shoots up, or even the sniper, they can all jump to high places and shoot down. So just remember to stay together, whatever character you choose, understand that it has a role. So healers stay next to the strong characters from a distance at like a different angle. Sentinels and Char, the whatever Bosk is. What's Bosk? What's the species?
Transition.
Transdotion. I was going to say
Yeah,
Rodian, but
they regrow limbs. Yeah.
that would be great. If he got hurt, his arms would fall off.
Yeah,
so
really.
just as a tip, just realize that each character has a role. Do everything you can that if you die, get to your group as fast as you can. And if you play the capture the power flag, only do 2 spots. Don't try to capture the whole map. Just move to the 2 closest spots. Put your sentinel there in the middle and keep healing your sentinel so they don't die. Put your snipers up top, shooting down. Like, it's a great game, but don't just do one versus. It drives me crazy. It's like, you have a role to play in this game. Play it. So it's a great game, though. It can be fun, make friends. I hope that they open up some sort of function where you can talk to friends only. Even if only 2 of the 4, because there's groups of 4.
Yeah.
If only 2 of you can talk.
Yeah, we could always just like Skype while we're playing. So
yeah, definitely. It's just that there is, and you can put a headset on and a switch and you can talk. I don't know how you do it with the phone. I would imagine the same way, but I hope they do open something like that up. It would help with strategy a little bit better. But if you know your role and you kind of know where to go, you don't need to talk a lot or help them under fire, whatever it may be. So I think it's been great so far. It's fun. Weird characters, weird skins. There's talks of other characters, like in the Star Wars is so big and expansive. They can put all sorts of characters from across the universe into that thing.
But Geo,
yeah, I would spend $10 on that in an instant. So he just takes damage and then just shoots around into people. So, but yeah, any character you can think of Star Wars, they can put in that as a battle to try to win whatever the championship, whatever it may be. And that's what I love. Star Wars is so big. You can put anything weird in there and you can make a cool little team out of it. So it's good. And I'm hoping that it does well. So they keep releasing interesting things.
Yeah. If I get on with the controller, I might buy the odd bits and bobs as well, but I'll wait to see if I get on the controller, I can actually play the game properly before I give them any money.
Probably be a lot easier with the controller.
I really hope so. Like I say, if I'm worse with the controller, it really is. I might as well just give up. just give up. Just go back to Words with Friends. That'd be about it for me. Okay, so that's Hunters. We'll probably have more to say about that again in the future. I'm sure. But as we come near towards the end of the episode, I did ask Chris a question at the start. Everybody remembers that in the first episode of the Acolyte, Yord, the testosterone high Jedi Knight, it was preparing to use the mind trick on the lead Neimoidian officer, but then the other female one blurts out exactly where Osha is. And
is it closest or is it without going over? Like, we got to establish these rules.
Let's do that. Let's do the don't go over. Let's do that one. This for a change. There's no Ron likes that, and that'd be a change. But I will tell you, it's a 2-digit number, so I don't want to go stupid here and say 1095 or 205. It's a 2-digit number. So let's go around the Skype. So we'll start with Marie.
23.
Sorry.
23.
23. Ryan.
32.
Ricky.
38.
And Ron.
23.
Don't know if you can guess the same number or not, but yes, we have the right answer has been guessed. I didn't have to get any multiple choice, and it is bunk 23.
Yeah, Price is Right rules. No, technically I can't use the same guess because somebody's already guessed it, but I knew it was 23.
Yeah.
So I wasn't guessing.
I wasn't guessing either.
No. So
I didn't remember.
I don't know. Is that a throwback to Stellbach AA 23 or I don't know. Just I don't know why it stuck out or that I've watched it. I've seen it now 3 times, but somehow.
Cell 2187.
I watched it this morning, and I swear I was like, "Oh, I got this." It's like 32 or 34, and I was way off. So,
No, it's 23.
I think the cell is 2187, but isn't the cell block AA23?
Cell block AA23. Yep.
Yeah.
Detention
But
level
the-
block 5.
What does the AA stand for? Do you guys know?
I have no idea.
Adamant. Oh, that's the
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Acolyte Anonymous.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I've
Admiral
ever
Akbar?
heard it. I don't think I've ever heard it addressed as what AA might be related to.
It's Admiral Akbar.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we've made it to the end, folks. We're still here. This is how the show ends with a thunderous applause. And we've
How
had-
many episodes of Acolyte did we get?
Sorry?
8.
8.
23.
So we've got 6 more to go.
6, yeah.
So our next Senate session will be right before it wants to wrap, I guess, yeah?
Well, depending where we have it, but yes.
Unless something crazy happens and we're like, we need to talk about
Yeah,
it.
something happens crazy in between. Yeah, I had the Wikipedia thing up. It says when the last. Oh gosh, got
If
the wrong-
Yoda pops up, emergency Senate. So.
Last episode is on July the 16th.
Okay, so right, we'll have a chance to discuss midway through, and then we'll have a chance to discuss
Good.
it
Right at the
wrapping
end.
and maybe a special Senate session right at the end or whatever. Well, awesome.
Okay, so it's goodbye for me, and it's goodbye from Marie,
Goodbye.
Ryan,
Goodbye, everybody.
Ricky,
Bye-bye.
and Ron.
Cheers. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you for listening, everyone, and may the force be with you.
Always.
Which is said in the Acolyte episode.
Does he say
1
it?
or 2. Yours says it, didn't
There-
it? No, the Fern says it.
The green lady says it, definitely says it, and there was also I have a bad feeling about this. So
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah,
the
that
Senate
came
as well.
up.
Yes.
excited to have those too.
May the
Always
Yoda be
love
with you.
Yeah,
well,
generally
yeah, but,
don't get the hate other than wanting to be a hater because it gets you attention dollars. To go, oh, it's just awful. I don't see that at all. I don't understand it, and your loss if you can't get over Star Wars. The new Star Wars you're getting presented to you. I've seen some hate about the Green Jedi. Not much of a design and all that. So whatever. That's what her. I don't know. I'll never understand that other than just seeking attention dollars by getting on the internet because it's easy to do.
There's no
I
white,
agree.
there's no white people in it. On my rewatch, I counted it. And there was over 10 in the first episode, at least another 10 in the second episode that are white.
They have to be the main character, okay? Main character.
Oh wow. Well, they have to be for those people, yes. But I mean, that's not. I did not finish watching those 2 episodes. And the first thing I thought of was, wait, where are the white people?
Behind the camera, Stephen.
The one thing that has been pointed out that May and Osha have the exact same hairstyle and everything is a bit of a okay, yeah, that there is nothing, so much so that she could pass for and all that sort of stuff. But I think there's something to, and they've been separated for a long, long time. So how would they know? But there's something to twins. I think there's something to twins, potentially could end up looking with the same hair. They're the same person. So why couldn't or wouldn't they? It's easily enough.
I'm sure I've seen plenty of long lost twin stories and stuff, and they pretty much all have the same kind of hair or look and stuff like that.
That is true.
They like the same style of clothes and stuff.
Yeah, there's a story of the triplets that found each other on the internet, and they all have the same hairstyle. They didn't cut it short. So it's. I agree. At first, I was like, it is kind of weird. They look the same, but then it's like, no, this here's a real world example of it. So. Okay, moving on to the story.
But even story-wise, you had to have them look the same, or else it wouldn't be a mystery.
Yeah, exactly. They're identical twins.
At the end of the day, it's a TV show, and you had to establish that you didn't know which one it was. If one had a mohawk and one had long hair, then
there's going to be that. Yeah, there's going to be that Spider-Man moment in the Spider-Man meme that goes around with two Spider-Mans pointing at each other. That's going to happen at some point again, as Ron said.
I'm looking forward to sitting down. I love that it drops at Tuesday at 9:00, and sit down and watch.
You might. I can't watch until next day.
When does it drop for you? It doesn't. When does it actually drop? When's the first opportunity for you to watch it? Wednesday?
It'll be 2 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday, yeah. But I'm not
Mm.
staying up. Not staying up. Don't get up
Sure.
at night.
Right, okay, that's what
Watch it at breakfast time. Yeah.
6 p.m. Tuesday for me, so I get to watch it right after dinner.
Yeah, I am a little jelly about the having to wait till 9. You get a nice dinner time watch, but
It's prime time Star Wars, which is awesome.
I wake up at 5 a.m. for work, and I go like, man, I got to stay up and watch this. So excited though. Then I have to wind down and go to sleep. So it's
You're
exciting.
up playing Hunters at 4 a.m., Ryan. So
Only on days that I don't work the next day. So Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, look me up. I'll be playing till like 12:30 at night. And
I didn't know you
I
played
sleep.
10 hours. Does it tell you on the Switch?
yeah, it does.
Yeah, it'll tell you.
On the iPad how long I've been. Can't be that. It won't be more than about 2
See
hours.
how many hours Ryan has on Zelda. It's ridiculous.
the Acolyte rewatches, you also get to appreciate how good the world building was, and how that's
gotta
where I
rewatch
noticed
it.
sort of the
Yes.
backgroundy stuff, or just noticed, wow, there's a lot going on here. They've been paying a lot of attention to just little things and all the aliens and the little details and the weird gonk droids and all that. See on the rewatch.
Yeah, I've been wanting
Excellent
to rewatch it.
soundtrack.
The other day when I was trying to find something to watch on Disney Plus, I just wanted something in the background because I was actually working, and I'm like, I'm gonna be looking at my laptop and I'm gonna miss everything. So I didn't want to put Acolyte in the background because I want to actually sit there and watch it again. So
Oh, that's when I think that's when I find it. I throw it in the background, and when I'm looking, not paying attention to the story, and just look up to see where am I at, what's going on. Oh, this is that scene where they did X. I think it helps to reinforce what goes on, and that's when I notice the stuff in the.
But then I wouldn't work. I would just look at
rewatch
the
to
screen.
look for it.
I would just
Just
be
have it
focusing
on.
on the screen the whole time.
Anyway, fantastic Senate session. I got a jet.
Real.
Always a
Yeah,
pleasure
same
chatting
here.
with you guys. Absolutely love it.
Let's go. Back to the real world.
All right. See you guys
Cheers,
later.
you guys.
Bye-bye.
Go switch off. I am the Senate.
Be sure to follow us online. We're at Facebook at PSW Senate. Join our PSW Star Wars Facebook group where we all are in there interacting. You can find us on Twitter at PSW Senate. On Instagram, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. And on TikTok, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Force will be with you, always.
Right, so we said round the table, news, Acolyte, Hunters, anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
Mhm.
Just like regular
That's
call.
about it, but yeah.
Yeah,
We
pretty
got
much
rid of
regular.
we got rid of all our what is it, Star Wars Unlimited talk last week, so we got all that out of the way.
Thank goodness for that. That's why I got confused. That's why I got really confused when I started playing Hunters, because for some reason, it wasn't what I thought it was Outlaws. I was thinking Outlaws when I loaded it off and stuff. They were all the outfits I've seen recently. I didn't really notice any of the outfits for Hunters. I was playing going, this is not what I remember seeing. So I got confused because Outlaws isn't out yet, is it?
No, that'll be in the news.
I wonder if that would work on the iPad.
No, Outlaws? No.
No, probably not. I'm surprised how well Hunters plays on the iPad. It's just like there's no lag or anything like that, apart from the old internet lag, of course, but there's no game lag or anything like that. It plays very well. Oh, there's any other games? We'll get back to that when we get there. Any other little games I can fire up on the iPad and stuff, but again, that's taken up a lot of my space I've got left anyway. We've got Ricky and Ron in mutes. So I get pronunciation right before we go on. How do you say the names of those? How do you say the names of those? This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. Those species.
Yeah, Neomodians.
Nemoidians.
Nemoidians.
You've all said it about 3 different ways then. Nemoidians.
Nemoidians?
Nemoidians.
Nimoy. Like Nimoy.
Like Leonard Nimoy.
No, Nimoy. So not Nemoid. Nemoidium.
Yeah,
Yes.
like the breed. Nemoidium.
Nemoidium.
Yep.
Apparently, I didn't know because when I was reading stuff
The
about
Trade Federation.
Yeah, I could just say that, couldn't I? I was actually thinking about
Yeah.
What should they trade
Trade
federation?
feds.
Yeah. But then I was wondering, is all the trade fed Nemoidians?
They
think
kind of
so.
run the Trade Federation, yeah.
Yeah, they run
Probably,
it.
Yeah. I was kind
Because
of
they
thinking,
buy up the trade routes and stuff like that.
Yeah, the banking clan is the the other guys, the guys with the long faces.
the big
The
heads,
techno
the big
union is the
heads,
people
yeah.
with the funny suits,
Robots.
That's right. Yeah.
robot things. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
And the lollipop.
it's like a
was the
robot
little guy.
suit, though, isn't it?
That wasn't a techno union person in Acolyte, was it? In the prison.
No, I don't think so.
Sort of similar looking, wasn't it? No. So yeah, when I was reading about the Acolyte stuff, people were praising the fact that the Nemodian accent wasn't racist this time. Apparently they're racist. They're racist in the Phantom Menace. Very stereotyped racists.
They sound vaguely Asian in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and I thought, well, yeah, apparently, but I never thought anything of this. I thought, well, apparently people see that's a big problem.
Yeah, I never thought anything of it either.
I remember them saying that when it came out.
Two people brought it up and then turned it into a thing.
Well, everybody's voice sounds like Southern, doesn't it? At least. But,
yeah.
Well, when the
And then
movies came, George's idea was to have it where it was like Earth, where people have different accents and stuff. But I think they thought he went too over the top stereotype with it. So that's why Jar Jar has his accent, and the Nemoidians and all that stuff. But that's why you get a surfer guy in episode 3. He's like, they're in the main hangar bay. Yeah, so he changed it up. Yeah, I remember them making a big deal about that when the movie came out. I'm like, but that was like every movie would do that though back then. So.
And then
I hadn't heard about it until people started talking about how their accents had changed for the better in the Acolyte.
Yeah, they didn't sound. I mean, my thing was they look less like puppets this time. They actually look like they don't have that weird, almost Halloween costume looking face.
Yeah,
they look like they have actual faces.
I don't even know if it was CG or not. Like, it's getting so good, it's getting hard to question if things are CG or if they're robot. Just don't know anymore.
They just got a guy that looked like one.
They just found one somewhere that looked Nemoidian.
Great casting.
If you look like an Emodian, please come to our casting audience and stuff. Yeah, but they kept the bad lip sync stuff, didn't they? Though, so they don't lip sync very well, but that's kind of par for the course for them. I quite like that.
Isn't
I don't
the
think there was
banking
many
clan guys?
close-ups of their face.
The banking clan guys are supposed to be like what Darth Plagueis looks like.
Yeah,
Right?
the banking clan people are supposed to be what Darth Plague is a species.
Yeah.
Moons.
Munes or moons or whatever it is.
Yeah, I
Frankie
pronounced
Muniz is.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, I just realised everybody's here now.
I was making my coffee. Drinking my Star Wars coffee, my Wookiee cookie.
Guys, I don't have my normal setup coming in via just my phone.
You normally have somebody with you? Yeah, okay, yeah.
I just picture Ron like on Rogue One
by
when
my
they're
cell phone, by my cell phone, not my normal computer rig.
he's got a
Right.
gonk droid outside and he's like got the antenna and everything out in the field and
R4, try to increase the power or boost it off of bounce it off of something. What's he say?
Oh, it was it that? Was it transfer it from relay
the
it
old
from
folks home. Yeah.
Yeah, relay this message to Coruscant.
Yeah.
I like that he
Isn't
calls
there-
the council the old folks home.
I love it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He does.
Okay.
Why do I know that? But I'm thinking I'm totally blanking on that. He does say the old folks home, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
It's
I've
in
never
tradition
given
with
that
his
a moment
pathetic
of
life
thought
form.
until just now. Yeah, really.
Obi-Wan's just rude to everybody.
I love Obi-Wan. Come on.
That's funny.
Okay. So we're all here. So should we get going then? Don't have
Yeah,
to.
I'm ready.
We can,
Yeah.
while we're here, we could do. Just pass time for an hour or two. Right. Oh, there's Finny.
Oh, you heard him?
Well, I heard the bell.
Yeah, he's not. He's sitting right by my bed, so that's why you heard him.
We're not
Looking at me like I want a T word.
We're not going to get any sirens anyway from Ron this time, I suppose.
Marie, my comic sensibilities, I so want to ask you, if I say T, can he hear me? But I don't
No,
want to
he
do
won't.
it because I don't want to set him off. But that's
No,
so what I want to do.
He won't hear you because I have my my AirPods in, so he's not.
You
gonna
have
hear
headphones, okay.
Why do you
Yeah.
feed your cat Takis?
Ah.
Because he likes them. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Steven doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Takis are the worst.
Poppies.
Takis. They're like
Takis.
You know what hot Cheetos are? Do you guys have hot Cheetos there?
Hot cheese.
Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos.
No,
It's
I
like
have no idea.
Yeah,
what
bro.
about.
No. They're like atomic red colored Cheetos. But they make these things called Takis that are like tortilla chips, right? I've never actually
Yeah,
eaten
they're like
tortilla.
rolled up tortilla. They're like rolled up tortilla chips, and they dust them in spices like covered in food coloring, and it's nasty.
Yeah. All the kids love them.
All the kids love them, but like I personally don't like eating blue foods like that. Like artificially colored blue. So
What about that blue milk then? Because drink any blue milk.
I still haven't found it.
I'll give a little for that, but like food that looks that is blue, or like the purple and green ketchup in the 90s. Oh,
Wait,
Yeah.
so
was
they
so disgusting.
you don't get blue milk from sad cows?
I don't know.
Sad cow. I think I've heard
Chocolate
this
milk comes
before.
from chocolate cows.
No, there is no food that is blue. It is a good. It's a,
Yeah, well, there's a few things. I mean, but like blueberries, but they're not like blue.
they're not
They're
blue.
not like
They're
bright
not really
blue.
blue though, are they? No.
Right. They're not bright blue. They're just kind of like a dark, almost blackish blue.
I remember back in this is off topic now, but in primary school when we had a meals, we had a kitchen at the school, and the cook would cook for us. And then at one Hannahine, she thought it'd be funny, well, not funny. She thought it'd be entertaining for us kids, which aged between 5 and 10, to put colouring in the meal. So like we had like it was mashed potato, beans, and something else I can't remember now, and they're all weird colours. I think the beans were like blue, and the mashed potato was like orange. And this is 80s style food colouring, so it's like bright. It's like it was like it
Was it Willy Wonka?
it was awful, and it tasted like it. It didn't actually. The potato didn't taste like potato either, and over the colouring.
Yeah,
and stuff,
because
it was
food
awful.
coloring back then was really chemical. Remember when if you
Yeah,
put it in
yeah,
like
yeah,
frosting
yeah.
and stuff like that, it just ended up the frosting ended up tasting like food coloring.
I'm surprised she can get. Well, these days you get done for food poisoning or something like that, or we weren't all sort of like dancing off the ceiling after eating that. Goodness knows what was in it. That was awful. It was terrible. Good idea, badly executed.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Anyway,
Let's get going. Everybody's ready. Let's see. Got the script ready. Got the right date on it. Okay. I've got a quiz question as well after we've introduced everybody. Okay, so